how about somebody else does the recap while I do that? That sounds good. Yes. Anyone else want to do the recap last week? Some interesting stuff went down for sure. A lot of RP. And no one going once, going twice.
I haven't done it. I'll do it. I
All right,
just
yeah, there you
was
go.
having trouble
You
remembering.
were a lot of stuff happened to you specifically, so it'd be good to hear your point of view on things.
Well,
All right, go
last
for it.
week we finished exploring the sunken ruins. We decided that in order to proceed, that we decided we couldn't proceed, so we decided to head back to Lizardfolk, taking 2 of the special keys needed to unlock the temple in the ruins. We went to the Lizardfolk. We talked to the Queen of Thokint again. She was like, "No, don't bring those here." And we were like, "Oh, sorry. We'll take them out of here." Um, and then we convinced her to, or Thogum figured out, made the connection between the 2 materials being the same. Convinced her to take off her necklace, which she was more than happy to do because it endangered her people. So she gave it to us, and now we're just holding like three tesseracts. They'll be coming to getting us soon, I imagine. But with that, we decided to head back. After that, decided to head back to Saltmarsh to kind of resupply, figure out our next move. Could probably meet our crew. I don't know if we have one waiting, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Oh yeah, we'll bring back Haxel's body, bury him. I think that's about it.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and take DM inspiration for doing the recap for me, and let's go ahead and get started here. All right, back in the town of Saltmarsh. I know some people wanted to handle some business outside of town. I know it was very busy this past week. Hopefully, you felt empowered to take care of town business. Um, Fantasy shopping is great, they say. But for the most part, if there's a PHB for that kind of stuff. So if you had, if you're in a town, the town's functioning properly, you should be able to do your buying and selling. I trust you to do it in a efficient and organized manner. So if you needed anything in town, you could have definitely taken care of it during that time. And then also, I saw that Illyria wanted to swing by and visit Okam's niece, if I recall, and sort of possibly cash in for that reward slash mostly convince him that you're old, bro. You need to just stay here and let us do our thing, and I'll let you know what happened. I'll take great notes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I think I paid you guys out in advance, of course,
You did.
so that you'd have the money to work with. So you go and you see his niece, Olivia, and Olivia is very just yeah. There's a lot of feels. It's one of those classic fantasy, medieval fantasy world where parents were killed by monsters raised by eccentric uncle who's way older than her father was, kind of thing. Became sort of his caretaker, he became her caretaker. uh you know he's this crazed old eccentric academic and encouraged her to pursue the academic pursuits as well. Blah 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 blah. So she's overjoyed that he has been returned to her. And honestly, as soon as he's in a bed, his old man body sort of just, kind of like the air kind of empties out of it. Like, whoo, what was I doing? And yeah, he's not going anywhere. She puts a weighted blanket on him, stuffs him full of like hot fish soup. And, it doesn't take much for the combination of Olivia and Illyria, Team Ia, to just kind of convince him that it's in his best interest to stay here. So he is very sad, and he tells Olivia to fetch the stones. And then she kind of like makes an angry face at him, and she says, "If you still had the stones, why didn't you take one with you and leave one with me? And he kind of makes like a poo-poo gesture with his hand, and he's like, I had a lot of things on my mind, and it's like when you're planning for a trip, you think you have everything, and then you forget your toothbrush. And she's kind of like stormy look on her face, and she's like, this is a little bit more than a toothbrush, but fine. And she goes and she fetches a pair of sending stones. She gives one of them to you, Illyria.
Okay.
A sending stone can be found in the compendium. It is a BB magic item. So if you click on the little gray-black circle with the I stands for compendium, you'll be able to search for sending stone. And basically, they are like the D&D equivalent of cell phones, except you can only make one call per day. You can only say 25 words. So, but it's still better than not having such technology at your disposal. The most popular look is for Sending Stone is sort of a little clip-on earring that resembles like an animal tooth made out of a blue stone or gem. I guess there was a wizrobe named Bluetooth, and he's the sort of the inventor of this technology, and so that's sort of everybody kind of sticks with that. There's this whole other group. They have like these little white stones that you actually stick into your ear, and it looks like you got a little like stick poking out of your ear. It's gaining some momentum in Waterdeep, but a lot of people think it's kind of pretentious. Plus, they can only be made out of ivory, so there's some ethical issues there. So, yeah, this is a Bluetooth model to be sure. So, all right, so you handle that, and the old man is sad that he can't go adventuring, but sometimes you have to accept the limits of your old human body. And if you didn't have those limits, we wouldn't have people turning themselves into liches, and the world would be a boring place. So, all right. Anyways, no foreshadowing there. Okay, so anyone else have any other business they want to take care of here in town? I think you do have the disposal. That's not the right word. The burial of former Captain Haxel to deal with. So,
yeah, I think maybe Skull suggested it, but I liked the idea of kind of like a Viking send-off for him.
Yeah.
We know we like to see,
Okay.
but I feel like maybe we should go talk to the crew first, because maybe I don't know. I guess I don't know if they were close enough yet. Maybe they want to participate.
Okay. I mean, close is a weird word since they were pseudo-shanghaied into service by you guys.
I guess not then. Yeah.
Let's
There's
make
a
it
cemetery
fair.
in town, right? How do we dispose of the body?
Yeah, so Valkur, Surfer Thor, god of the oceans and all that jazz. Little bro of Talos, who's a much more rowdy boy. And the two of them constantly at strife with Talos, sort of the asshole of the fraternity that they're all in. Velkur has a temple there, and Thogrim has visited it before. So that might be, I mean, he's a goodly deity of the oceans. The other option, if you feel that it would be more his speed, is you could go and retain the services of a priest of Umberly, the bitch queen, terror of the ocean, she who, haunts the oceans, etc., etc. I don't know if that was Haxel style or not. Or you could go to the glade and see if the druids would be able to help with that. They're kind of a more holistic funeral situation, like turn them into a tree kind of situation. So
I was thinking about that. I think
Yeah.
Toothless was I think he'd prefer the former, the first one.
Yeah.
The nicer kind of whatever sea person.
Yeah. That being said, there is the Sun Group option. You could always sell his delicious body to the lizard folk for shinies. They had an interest in Captain Scarf, so
Not
morally, some choices would be viewed in a more goodly light than others by the people of the Sword Coast. But I respect your player agency. All right, so Valkyr, good. Okay, cool. So you guys head over to the Temple of Valkyr. Let's see. I need you to function, eyeballs. I know you're trying your best. You're trying your best. There we go. All right, so Temple of Valkyr. Valkyr, Captain of the Waves. What a cute name for a god. Captain of the Waves. Patron of sailors, ships, favorable winds, and naval combat. So you head on over. This is location 26. So it's on a beautiful, like buff overlooking the ocean. From here is a romantic area where people like to go and schnog. That's, I guess, like making out, but if you go to Hogwarts. This area is called the Leap. It's nearby. It's it kind of looks like this. Here you go. Yeah. So people like to go there and make out and make babies and jump off when they're sad. So,
Oh no.
yeah. Most people live. Most people live from jumping off. Surprisingly.
Circle of life.
Yeah. But it's a tradition that if someone you loves dies at sea, you jump off the cliff. And if you survive, then you are meant to move on with your life. And if you don't, then you're, reunited with your loved one who died at sea.
Aw.
Seems fair.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Forgotten Realms is a pretty tough place to live. I could definitely see people being like, all right, we'll jump off this cliff. So, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes down in this world. So, you arrive at the Temple of Valkyr. It definitely has sort of a Viking lodge feel to it. And out back is a big old graveyard. That would be area number 27. That is the Saltmarsh graveyard. It is well kept. But honestly, people are mostly into burials at sea and things like that. So it doesn't actually get a lot of business. These are much older graves, a lot of them. Or they are, in some sections, newer graves of people who have come to the area to make money off of Saltmarsh, and they have more inlander, non-seafaring, non-coastal traditions. So it's a neat, if you're into like cultural stuff, the graveyard is kind of an interesting place to go because you can kind of see over the history of the town, the slow increase of inlanders to Saltmarsh through the increase of graves. So very interesting, I guess. Anyways, you head to the temple, and the priest there is a big boy. He is a northern barbarian. Back when Northern Barbarian was kind of its own racial choice. Welgar Brine-handed. And do you all show up with the body? Is this like a whole team effort, or do only some of you show up?
I think we all show up.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely.
All right. Yeah, so he looks at you and he smiles, just like in this picture, as you approach. And he walks up to you, Thagrum, and he says, friend, you have come back. How was your trip to the salt marshes? Have you found out the errand I asked you to do?
I have something. I think it might be intertwined with the errand you sent me on. I think we might need to sit down for a spell and speak about it, and I might pick your brain and see what you think.
So you come to me with the heavy news, but not the news I was seeking.
Oh, not quite. We have some news, and I think it might be connected, like I said, and I'm want to ask for some guidance from you and the one you serve, but also we come here a little heavier dealing with our friend here who lost his way during our troubles.
he lost his way, and he looks over at the bundle, and he says, he kind of winces and he says, "Ah, he lost his way forever."
Yeah, you could say that.
Mm. It is expensive and not always easy to bring life back to dead. Is this what you want for him?
Huh, you know, out of character, we didn't consider that he could just be the captain, and then, but no, I think we'll bury him. I don't think that'd be good.
I think it's time for him to go out to sea, if you know what I mean.
I see. He made this known to you. His soul is ready for the next journey. This is good. I feel bad to call upon Valkyr over and over for such tasks. If you need the funeral arrangements, that is simple matter. I have acolytes that can help you prepare such simple rituals.
And I assume that he will be sent out to sea.
We will get boats. There will be fire. He will be protected from the Bitch Queen's grasp. Valkyr will take him to Ysgard, where he will sail upon seas of clouds and do great battle against evil for eternity.
Well, that sounds cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, it's pretty, as Heflings say, hype. Very excited about dying someday. So I tried very hard in my youth. Nothing could kill me. So.
When do you expect that he will go out to sea? We might wish to see his boat go.
Certainly. We can do the ceremony in the morning or at the sunsets. So tomorrow, sunrise or sunset? What is best for you?
Probably the sunset. I don't imagine Haxel got up very early all the time.
Yeah.
This is one who rides. This is man who rides pony through town naked. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. I hear of this when drinking. It's a funny story.
So you've heard of us.
Yeah,
he smiles at the memory.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. He's a smiley guy.
Yeah. All right. If that is case, I will make arrangements for you with the acolytes. Will you be providing your own boats? If not, a donation to temple is appreciated for boats. You will not get boat back. There is fire involved.
Do we want to give him the Jenny? I mean, we could buy. How much does a rowboat cost?
Rowboats are cheap.
Yeah.
Jolly boats, as
Jolly boats.
Sun Group found out too late, are like 500 gold apiece. So you may not want to burn them up in your jolly boat, unless you're feeling extra baller. I don't know.
Do we still have one of the canoes that Thogrim?
Oh yeah, Thogrim
made?
brand canoe.
They're made out of.
I think they're immune to fire, right? No.
Didn't you make them out of aluminum?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be a morbid burial at sea. Just kind of coil in the canoe. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
like
buy
a tamale just sort of floating out in the bay.
Oh God.
Oh, feels bad.
No, aluminum has a pretty low melting point, so it would just smell like slag and burnt flesh for a while. It would be fine. It would eventually sink.
So we just need to pay for a rowboat or a donation to the church. Okay.
Yeah.
How much of a donation would you suggest?
How much is a robot worth?
I am not one to put a price on the faith, but it is what you feel you can spare. Any excess money, we will put towards the good works of Valkyr in the town, and your friend's name will be associated with such deeds.
Toothless looks at his empty pocket and kind of looks around at everyone else.
It's
You
50
guys
gold
know
for
that generally a ceremony, right, in the Dungeons and Dragons world, a fancy ceremony like a special age milestone birthday or a wedding or a funeral, things like that, the average ballpark is about 25 gold to cover a sort of ceremony, which is a little price because, again, minimum wage in the Sword Coast is 1 gold a day. But if you kind of think about real world prices, right, you could easily drop a person making minimum wage in America. Let's not even talk about that. But paying for any sort of function like that would easily drain you of a week's paycheck or possibly a 2 weeks paycheck. So that's the general price. So it's 25. So I don't want you to be like, well, I have no information. He's not providing any, so let's just drop, I don't know, 6,000 gold on this. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it's 25 gold is generally for a ceremony type cost.
What does everyone think of 100 gold?
Well, I did take the money off of his corpse. And he had 80 gold on him, so I think we could just throw that all on there. I don't want to be cursed by his ghost by hanging on to it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Good
If
to
we're
be
cool,
safe.
we could
I like
just give
that.
that to them, and
Yeah.
and that would be for the 50 gold for the boat, 25 gold for the ceremony at least, and an extra 5 gold just cause. Let's
Like
do
it.
that.
Okay.
Just because Buddy would have liked this. Buddy's gonna Toothless is gonna give Buddy a gold coin and have Buddy donate 1 gold coin to the to this
To curse his soul forever.
So
Buddy's just a doll.
101 gold, 1 gold of which was provided by Buddy.
Yep.
Am I understanding that? Okay. All right.
I was gonna say 80. 81.
81.
Yeah. Because that was all of his gold that he had, so.
All right, fair enough.
I'll throw in the extra. I'll throw in the extra
Okay.
20 for a proper
Oh,
send off.
All right.
I am
nice.
keeping his scarf, so it's really.
Did you take his fancy jacket too, or is he buried with
They
that?
smell like him. It's a beautiful mix of tobacco, narcotics, hookers, and seawater. So it's just a bouquet of potpourri, pirate potpourri, the latest candle from Yankee. All right. All right, sounds good. So, did you have any other business with him? Thogrim, you said you wanted to speak with him.
Yeah, after we finish everything, I kind of just want to unless you enjoy talking as the Valkyr gentleman.
No, you could speed it up. That's cool.
Just go over everything that kind of happened to us in in the dungeon-esque area. I kind of explained to him the potential for some sentient weapon, some god, necromancy kind of going on with the large beasts being taken over. Described to him like the like purple, I don't know, what are they, like slugs or whatever, like the purple insects in the.
We have some to show
Oh, do we still have those?
I do.
I don't know.
in the vial. Yeah.
Yeah. And then show him those, I guess, if everyone decides to stick around with me afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and then basically, and then tell him about the 2 keys that we have right now, and then basically describe everything to him and kind of ask him, what his thoughts are on this,
All right.
and if they could possibly be connected to the cultists, maybe.
All right. He listens quietly, nods sagely to everything you're saying. So clerics in 5th edition, they often take intelligence as a dump stat. As a class, they only get like 2 skills. So unless they've got some knowledge skills from their background, it's rough. It's rough. But he tries his best to instill you with confidence that he followed what you're saying and he understands what you're saying. You could tell, though, even without an insight check, that a lot of what you've told him has kind of gone way over his head. But he has a high wisdom score. And so he kind of is piecing together what you've told him. His general play is this. He's disappointed that the lizard folk essentially chickened out. Is kind of how he views it. That you aided them, and at the first opportunity, they wanted to withdraw from the conflict. If they were good neighbors, and there is a threat to the region, it is a threat that should be handled together. That's kind of how he feels about it. Now, he comes from the barbarians of the north, who have very xenophobic, very insular cultures. And he kind of explains that is a big part of why they have always struggled. Because they always felt like their problems were their problems. And they didn't want to ask for help. They were embarrassed to ask for help. And at any opportunity, they wanted to just do things their way. So he definitely sees where the lizard folk are coming from. He's disappointed that they don't know what a great weakness this is. That they had, and in his opinion, still have an opportunity for real allies with Saltmarsh. And he encourages you to not let them retreat back into their sort of xenophobic ways. That one crisis being avoided one time, like this is the Sword Coast, like it is always in danger, it is always in peril. It is short-sighted to rest on your laurels after evading one terrible calamity when another is just over the next wave, basically. So he implores you that even if it seems like they don't want your help, that helping them and leveraging that help into a better alliance with them would be beneficial to them and to the people of Saltmarsh. Because if these sorts of things are happening, because I'm assuming you mentioned the weapon and the weapon's connection to the Sahaugen and this entity that they're trying to impress or whatever. So this is like a lot of this is the kind of stuff that's kind of whispering of big things are happening, and there's definitely safety in numbers here. So he definitely implores you to try your best to not let the lizard folks slip back into their habits of trying to do everything themselves, and that he will find others to investigate what is going on down in Crabber's Cove, because this sounds like a much more important situation and something that you guys are uniquely equipped to deal with. So yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, we plan to return there shortly, and perhaps we can arrange this. I do have one other question for him, and it's about scrying magics, and about the keys. If he knows of a way to protect an object from scrying magics or divination.
There's a spell called non-detection. It is a pretty high level spell. Third level, so it's not outside of your guys' ability to cast. It is available to bards, rangers, and wizrobes. Bards, rangers, and wizrobes. And it is expensive by the standards of a normal person. It requires 25 gold of diamond dust.
Oh.
But it will protect the target creature, place, or object no more than 10 feet in any dimension from divination magic and scrying. But it only lasts 8 hours, so 25 gold per 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're worried about the Sahau gonna, because we've brought these back with us to keep them from achieving their goals, but at the same time, we don't want to put Saltmarsh in danger.
Would he
Yeah.
would he know of any like non-magical ways to prevent scrying? Like as a
I mean, it said that lead is a metal that is extremely anti-magic. You could certainly try to get a lead container to put it in. That would be heavy as hell to hold something 5 foot by foot that's already 200 pounds, and probably a little pricey, and something you'd have to have, made or use your ritual to make, because it's doubtful that anybody's like, yo, I've got a bunch of lead crates 5 feet on the side. I don't know what to do with them. So yeah, but that is a possibility. There's a possibility.
I recommend we stay on the move and move quickly back to the dungeon.
But he does inform you as essentially a somewhat of a soothsayer, because a lot of clerics they kind of favor their divination magic because they do get some sweet ass divination spells. A combination of speaking with the dead, speaking directly with deities, speaking directly with otherworldly entities. There's lots of ways that priests and priestesses can gather information beyond just scrying. It's also to give you a real world example. All right. I teach like cybersecurity sometimes for social media to adults and high schoolers and stuff. And Facebook has something called a shadow profiles. So any person on Earth that doesn't have a Facebook account, you have a shadow profile with Facebook. So what happens is they build a profile around people who don't have Facebook accounts using people who do have Facebook accounts.
Wow.
So right, every mention of John Harding by John Harding's sister gets added to John Harding's shadow account essentially. And so you're able to often learn a bunch about someone without actually investigating that person directly. The same thing is true, of course, in everything, but in D&D, they could say, "Oh, well, I can't scry Tari, but I could scry Illyria." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot of times, just like in real life, it's so much work to fall off the grid because there are so many ways around it. So yeah. Without making him sound like this super smart like magic nerd, he basically just tells you that there are many ways for a cleric or priest to attain information from the beyond.
I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I kind of feel like we should get our crew and go, but I'm happy to stick around if people want to do stuff in town too.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, and I wanted Skull to know in game that
For
I knew
sure.
about non-detection, but I wanted to role play it out and talk about it.
I'm
totally.
I'm even like more terrified now.
Because that was definitely a concern of mine. We definitely have to go tell Galen and them and the council about there could be possibly an attack.
And now we know that Facebook is tracking like Toothless and Skull and Thogrim.
Definitely, buddy.
Oh, buddy. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, all right. Good exchange there. The Haxel funeral is on for tomorrow at sunset. So I assume you'll be sticking around in town long enough for that. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
During that time, of course, you can handle the business that we discussed during the week. So getting your rewards, purchasing things in town that don't require fantasy shopping, that sort of thing. So is there anyone in town you'd like to meet with, or any other business you'd like to attend to?
Well, I guess I already... Oh, sorry. Is the buying the halberd and the like light armor or medium armor rather, like the scale mail?
So before you do that, if we have, because we still have like, do we sell all of our like baby like Bobo weapons and stuff like that we had?
Or what?
Like all of the junk weapons that we had?
Yeah,
don't
yeah. I
think
sold
we
all
have.
of the.
Did
I
we?
sold all of the great
Oh,
items.
cool.
I trashed all the vendor items. Or vended all the trash items. That's how we got our
So
original.
we don't have any material like I could make that halberd for you, or potentially the scale mail. I think I can make as well since it's metal.
Oh. No, I don't think so.
If we had like,
I mean, I'm sure we can go
items,
stop
but
by
yeah.
the forge and get some ingots, and you could just do that. Might be cheaper than buying the armor.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, Thogrum, I think we discussed this before, but I think we said that you could just make any item like in the PHB at half its normal cost using your ritual, because you would just be paying for the raw materials, so you don't have to worry about markup or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so just so
I mean, you obviously can't make a war elephant or something like that, but you know, like the non-organic stuff.
Oh yeah, okay, so Catanix is so he's tracking like so I can make you any of that stuff for half of that cost.
Okay.
And I can do it twice a day, and if we're gonna be here for 2 days and we don't need anything else made, then yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're low level. I mean, honestly, at any level, if you could pay half price for something, you might as well pay half price for something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can do that. I mean, if nobody's doing anything, then you basically spend the money like half the price, and I can make 2 different things up to 100 gold.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Crash, I did have one question about the amulet, the Princess Athokin's necklace. Is it? I couldn't find the amulet of protection item in the compendium. Is it just a ring of protection, reskinned?
Oh yeah. A ring of it would be a ring of protection, but
Okay.
it would be a neck slot item.
Okay. Right, and then yeah, can't you Cadenix, can't you just make the weapon? Isn't it just your pack weapon, or do you need an actual weapon?
I need to make the. I need a weapon to assign the pact ritual to it.
Oh. But
no, the cool thing about having Thogrum make it is you could literally have it look however you want, because the dude is a master craftsman and a forge cleric. So yeah,
that's pretty hype. I guess if we also want to sell the gems, maybe we can get Tari to do it, so we get a fair price, the ones we got from the reward. Unless you want to just hang on to them for now. Because if everyone wants some money right now, I can give everyone like 110 gold, because that's what we earned from bringing back the old dude, Ocam. But I think we should be good.
Yeah, I don't know that I actually like I need anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Toothless would kind of like swim up and down the Kingfisher River. Yeah, yep.
Okay. Then I guess if Thogrum, if you and Pharos are going to handle his equipment needs and save some money, that's cool. I guess I would just ask flavor-wise, Toothless, you're gonna kind of swim in the canals and sort of reconnect, as it were, with I don't know. I almost feel like the canal is like a good representation of your character, because it runs right through the town, the non-lizard folk town, but it is still an environment that you are at home in. So it kind of puts you out there where people can see you, and it makes sort of a conversation of this lizard folk still sticks around the town, still comes here and you know, does like people do, kind of deal. Yeah,
That sounds good. He would occasionally visit the Druid Grove. I think it's 29.
For sure. Yeah, the
and
grove
like,
of OG Sylvanas, not hot waifu Sylvanas, but OG Sylvanas.
And he'd like kind of like play with Buddy like while he was like on his back floating down the river as well.
Okay. All right. So and Illyria, you're kind of handling your biz. Yeah. Is anything
And
else
then
you're
I would have
handling?
wanted to, because I sucked at knowing what the fuck mushrooms are.
Oh yeah,
I would
you
have
wanted
wanted to go and find some stuff
So
about.
you know that the greatest library in town is actually a private collection owned by a particular individual in the town, and you know who this individual is. It is this dude Eleander. He's the
Oh.
Hello.
captain of
Like
Whoops.
old Jon Stark, Jon Snow
yeah.
right here.
Yeah, so Eleander is a retired Eldritch Knight who is currently the captain of the guard for Saltmarsh. He is a divisive persona because he is for Saltmarsh becoming a region under the control of Daggerford. Yeah, and a lot of people locally, a very passionate old woman, for example, don't want that to happen to the town. And so, despite the fact that he has a very good reputation, he is considered lawful good in the most non-stupid ways possible. So, a very rare character, to be sure. He has a pretty much a flawless record. He's lived a good life. He's considered a just man. He doesn't take bribes, but he's willing to bend when needed. Just overall has a really great reputation. But his decision in recent years to sort of side with Daggerford on the issue of Saltmarsh's independence has not helped his popularity very much. But it is something that he does believe should happen. But as an Eldritch Knight, he was Wizrobe curious, you might say, and that curiosity also created a love of books. And he is known for having the best library in the region, possibly rivaling some of the libraries of the nobles of Daggerford. He has been known to let people use the library, sometimes for a fee, sometimes for free, but only with his permission.
Ugh.
I think we didn't try and bribe him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That being said, there is another guy in town who has a pretty sweet library, but he's like a super douchebag, and that would be the
Wizard?
mysterious wizard Kelladek.
Yeah.
So that would be this guy right here. This is the guy that puts expensive tariffs on all goods that could be used as Wizrobe spell components, and generally makes life very hard for people trying to be Wizrobes. So it's one of those, I am at the top of the industry, and I want to make sure that everyone entering the industry has to struggle. So he kind of pushes through very high taxes on spell books and gold ink and all the other stuff that wizards need to function. So he's kind of a jerk. He's also many centuries old. He and his tower have been here for a very long time, and his presence has allowed the town to prosper because most humanoids and evil humanoids are smart enough to leave a town protected by a powerful wizard alone. That being said, he never goes out of his way to help anyone with anything.
How easy is it to tell a warlock from a wizard when they're casting magical spells?
Well, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but a wizard can cast more than 2 spells. That's the biggest tip right there. If they've cast more than 2 cantrips, they're probably not a warlock. Is your best indication. Yeah. Other than that, it actually would come down to like an Arcana skill check. You would sort of watch the way they cast. Wizards, of course, have a much more formal way of casting spells because everything they have is learned and trained in a very regimented, orderly way, whereas warlocks are taught, this is how I've always done it, by their patron. So they often have like a much more abstract and unique style of casting spells.
Okay.
And then sorcerers are basically just X-Men, so it's pretty easy to tell them because they don't really have any kind of formalized way of doing things. They just sort of fart magic. Then it's like it happens.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be your three arcane spellcasters. I guess a bard's an arcane spellcaster, but they make music into magic. Nobody even tries to quantify what bards do anymore. They're just like, just whatever you want. So just just don't seduce me. Just leave me alone. Yeah. So, but a good question though. And usually, I'll be honest, wizards don't like to multi-class. So when you run into a wizard is almost always a wizard. Nothing really multi-classes well with wizard. Whereas warlocks are a mess. So warlocks are often going to be multi-classed with other things, which is kind of indicative of the profession, because you get tempted away from your previous profession to be a warlock in a lot of cases, or you were a warlock when you were younger and you kind of grew out of it because you didn't want to be under the thumb of your patron. But wizards are rewarded essentially by being dedicated. That's how you get to the highest level spells faster and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
but yeah, if you look at the dude, he's got like a thick Jafar kind of vibe going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like if Jafar used like beard grow vitamins, and maybe worked out a little bit more. Kind of got
Yeah,
that.
we haven't met him
And
yet.
and if you have if you're the kind of person that likes to, I don't know, I guess solve problems quickly through stereotypes, you I guess everyone else in the party, you do know that the Scarlet Brotherhood is based originally out of Kalasham, and that particular wizard is a Kalashite human. So if you wanted to do some profiling, you could do profiling like that. So, all right. But yeah, those would be your two best bets for a library. Though, I mean, you could just go to a bookstore, try to get the book, try to get a book yourself. Ask around town, see if a fellow nerd has a book on mushrooms they could loan you. You could go hang out with the druids, see if they could give you a crash course in mushrooms.
I think I would want to go to a bookstore and just buy it, so that way I have it. They're mine. I don't want to.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to give them back.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Illyria, I would be interested in going to Eliander's library if you'd like to just check it out. Maybe he'll have some rarer books. I want to see if he has any stories about that mermaid songstress that was killed on the island. And I have this book, Ye Secret of Ye Philosopher's Stone, that I'll probably need assistance in reading. So I was hoping maybe he could help me with that. So I was wanting to go check that out if you'd like to accompany me.
Yeah. I'll buy some like the standard books that they have at a bookstore and then go over there to supplement whatever I don't have.
Okay,
go to the library.
Good.
Yeah.
The absolute standard is Plants and Fungi of the Realms by B. Simon Smith. It is a weighty tome and a bit pricey. It comes in at 25 gold if you'd like a copy of it. But it is it has a lot of information about the plants and fungi. Okay. You now have a copy of that wonderful Plants and Fungi of the Realms, written by B. Simon Smith.
Okay.
All right. The bookstore clerk is just kind of wipes their brow like that was the hardest sale they've ever had. All right. So, you two are going to head over and try to find out about accessing the library. anyone else have any other business they want to jump in on while you're in town? While these two are heading over to that before we handle their library research?
I would like to go check on the boat.
Okay, check on the boat. Fair enough.
Check on the boys.
So you go and check on the boat. The ship repairs by now, because you have been gone for a bit. The ship is ready to rock. One question I have: did you, because I have my notes open for you, did you guys settle on a name for the ship?
No.
Oh, skull. I don't think we're there yet.
Oh, okay. So, well, I wanted to make sure when I described the repaired ship to you that I didn't say, and the name is Bodie McBoatface. It's painted clearly across the boat, as per our discussion. All right, but if that's not the case, then don't worry about it. All right, so the boat itself is has been repaired. The dwarf bros that you befriended, they kind of wave at you as you approach. Their stumpy little arms, so adorable. And they kind of show you happily the repairs that have been made to the Sea Ghost. They kind of show you like, yeah, this is where the Jenny the Jolly Boat, and there's this Sea Ghost and all that good stuff. You are familiar with the stats of the ship, or do you want them to give you a quick rundown to refresh?
Yeah, I'm not super familiar, so I would.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so essentially, you glean this meta gameplay knowledge from their Bodhi talk in the game. But the Sea Ghost is a sloop. It is a size category 1, which is to say, a medium creature by boat standards. In combat, it can reach speeds of up to 70 feet, which is pretty impressive. That is, if we were zoomed all the way in on the map, the boat could move 70 squares on the map. So if we were in the closest possible zoomed in, time is slowed down, 6-second combat rounds, that's how fast the boat would go. It's got an AC of 15, which is pretty good. That's reflected in the fact that it's not so much that it's hard to hit it, because it is a boat, right? But that it is nice and sturdy and would deflect quite a few attacks. It still only has the 200 HP, which is the standard for a sloop of its size. It has a damage threshold of 10. Damage threshold is a mechanic that doesn't get used a lot in 5th edition. It used to be called hardness in other editions of the game. Basically, any attack that deals less than 10 damage does no damage to your boat. That's good, because you wouldn't want like a little sea goblin to come up and just start stabbing the bottom of your boat with a dagger and eventually poke a hole in it. So basically, right, that's not going to happen. The ship does 3d8 damage if it runs over something or rams into something. So that's its ram damage. Now, the problem with ram damage is if it rams something of an equal size, or roughly equal size or greater, it will also deal ramming damage to itself, and that's a 3d8, and that goes right past damage threshold and all that kind of stuff. Upgrades: it has 2 hidden compartments. You are aware of both those hidden compartments. Its travel speed is a whopping, get ready, 7 miles per hour, which historically makes it, I think, as fast, if not faster, than the fastest real-world ship of its type to ever be made.
This is like the Millennium Falcon.
It is. It is like the Millennium. Awesome. It is like the Millennium Falcon. It's definitely a little junky. It's a little junky, but it is very, 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 very fast. It does require to have all of these stats actually full, right? It requires a crew of 20. It can have up to 30 people on the ship. So you could have a crew of 20 and then 10 passengers. Or what a lot of people do for redundancy is they would have a crew of 30. So, I guess you'd include yourselves as part of the crew. But then if somebody, God forbid, dies or something like that, you have somebody to fill their spot, or somebody's sick and they need to rest. Yeah, but the ship, once you get past 30 people on the boat, it's going to get real uncomfortable. You're going to start getting morale issues, things like that. Your cargo area, you can carry 50 tons of cargo. And if you ever get hard up for money, you're pretty sure that this bad boy could sell for 10,000 gold. So
okay, that's pretty good.
It's currently equipped with 4 ballista. And the stats on a ballista, they have 15 armor class, 50 hit points, and they can be, let's see, before it can be fired, it must be loaded and aimed. It takes 1 action to load, 1 to aim, and 1 to fire. So an ideal ballista crew is 3 individuals. Arranged a ballista, even without really any training, just martial training, would be a +6 to hit, 120/480 foot range, and they do 3d10 points of damage. So not nearly as good as like cannons or just having a hill giant throw rocks at people, but it's way better than a bunch of basic people trying to fire stuff. The benefit, you might ask, like, why not just have 3 people fire longbows? That is because rival ships also have damage threshold, so you're more likely to break the damage threshold with a single attack that does 3d10 than 3 individual attacks that do 1d10. So there is some explanation for all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they explain all of that to you, and they show you the spoopy colors of the flag, which I think you guys have a copy of. It's that weird Death Eater looking flag. But again, they're waiting for you guys to sort of get the name and the colors. Currently, the ship is still called the Sea Ghost, and it still has spoopy colors.
It's so cute.
What if we sew Haxel's? I'm not there. I'll bring it up later. Illyria. I was thinking.
Okay.
What if we sew Haxel's scarves together for a cheerier flag for our ship?
I like that idea.
Like a quilt flag.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Algrim, I think we should make a really cool, badass flag. Maybe not out of scarves.
We could put like axes and like hammers and stuff on
No,
it.
I like the quilt idea too. I think that's really cool.
You can make the spooky stuff out of the quilts.
Or about this, we have a flag that has 2 sides. One side just to confuse everyone.
One to scare our enemies, and then one like, hey, we're pretty nice.
Yeah, like a jacket that's like reversible, so you kind of reverse it to like hold it inside out.
I like that.
Aha, we're pirates all along, not privateers.
Should we actually talk to Gellin and
yeah, we should. And I guess we still have to hire crew, or we should talk to Shank about that, or I think the options were we could have Shanker get a crew for us, or we could go to the Mariners Guild, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And that would the difference between that to be cheap, good crew versus cheap crew.
Right. Exactly. And then there's a difference in costs there. You hire people from the Mariner crew; they're going to be skilled laborers. They're more than likely not going to work for minimum wage. Whereas if you get people, who aren't in the Mariners Guild, they're going to be hard pressed for work. They're probably willing to work for a gold piece a day. But you, in a lot of cases, will get what you pay for. Occasionally, you'll get like a diamond in the rough type situation. And then you can also look for specific crew that you would like. So, for example, like the Sun crew, they were like, we want to have a cook, we want to have a bard, they wanted to have a medic. So they were looking for specific types of people to fill roles on the ship. I think they were even looking for like officer redundancy. So if they were away on like a land-based mission, the ship could still function without them, sort of thing.
I think that would be a pretty good idea. Is we find a crew that can self-sustain and maybe do ferry missions or something like that, or like deliveries, in order to pay for itself, I guess.
Yes.
Right. Well, we still have a bunch of contraband that we do want to sell. So we probably need to get some smugglers, yeah, or we can. I don't know.
We should also maybe get back to the dungeon at some point.
Yeah.
Well, this was
we can
my,
do that,
my,
yeah.
my kind of the plan I'd put forward was if we had a crew ready for us.
You guys are
ahead.
going to be in town for at least until tomorrow night, right? Because you're staying for the funeral, or are you just arranging the funeral and then you guys are going to head back to the dungeon? It's totally up to you. Yeah.
I think we were going to stay.
Okay.
I mean,
if that's the case, you could definitely either now or this could be another thing that you guys work on during the week, right?
I think that'd be better.
Yeah.
Come up with your crew request document, and then you could either have Shankar take care of it, or maybe you could even ask Prime Water. He owns several ships and seems to make a lot of money off of them. To help you find a crew. If you want to be a little bit more hometown and less possibly criminal, you could ask Ida. Ida has several fishing ships, so she also knows the industry pretty well. But those are probably your 3 best contacts that you know of.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that you could definitely discuss, and then just put to me, these are the people we want to hire. Or these are the type of people we want to hire. These are the quality of people we want to hire, and this is who we'd like to help us hire those people, and that would sort of affect what crew you would get for the ship.
Okay.
I vote for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
And I think I'd rather get.
And again, you guys have the benefits of one of the rarest classes in 5th edition, a ranger. So. Yeah, getting back to the Thousand Tooth Island for other people is a real pain in the buttskis. But you guys have a ranger who halves your travel time, and you also have the sweet-ass canoes that were made by a forge cleric, and you have a druid who is from that particular swampy region. So you have a lot of things working for you that would make travel pretty easy. So leaving the ship here rather than taking the ship up the coast, it's not really going to be a detriment for your group. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That makes sense.
Just missing one thing. Oceanus, we need some blood.
Oh
dang.
Where do you have that from?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then we do need to talk to him.
So, you're going to have a meeting with Oceanus, such as it were. So Oceanus is very happy that you saved his life, obviously. And he definitely feels ingratiated to you. And he did sign up for your crew willingly enough. So yeah, when you call upon him to speak with him, he definitely will want to do that. This may be a conversation that you want to have your Lady Illyria and a Bard Tari present, because he does like individuals of a more feminine persuasion. Though, I mean, if there were other options available, I'm sure he would be down for it. I mean, look at that sweet man bun. It was pointed out to me that he is an elf with a beard, so there's a whole story there that is waiting to be explored. But anyways, let's handle library real quick. Is that?
Sure.
And then you can jump on this Oceanus thing with everything else going on. So, library. Basically, the easiest place to find this guy is at Hoolwatch Tower or at his home. So, given the fact that you return to Saltmarsh, I think in the evening time. Let me check the calendar. 4 p.m. in the evening. You could probably catch him at his house if you wanted to.
Okay.
All right. So you guys swing by his home. All right. Cool. So over at Eleander's house, it is definitely nice. It is not drug lord nice like
Prime Water.
Yellen Prime Water. Yeah. And it is not Weasley nice like Owland. It is sort of traditional, more like Waterdavian noble, sort of Florence, Italy, like red tile, kind of coastal mansion kind of thing. So it's a lot more middle of the road compared to those two more eccentric houses. So as you approach, you see that it is lightly guarded, and it doesn't really have the same level of security that you had seen at even the Owlland estate, which either means that he's foolish, overconfident, confident, or there are magical protections at work, and you are just not seeing them. So tucked to the edge of town and overlooking the sea, his home provides him with a relaxing sanctuary away from the bustle of Saltmarsh. So you arrive, and sort of the door guards ask you what your business is there.
Hi, we're here to talk to Eleander, please. I found this book, and I was hoping he might be able to help me with it.
They both share like a knowing look, and they nod. And they fetch Eleander. So Eleander comes out to speak with you. You guys have met him before.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that whole thing with the house and all that jazz. Yeah. So he kind of nods at you guys, and he says, "Oh, it's you, the young adventurers who are making a name for themselves. Though I'm not sure exactly what that name is. What brings you here? I heard you had a book for me, or a book you'd like me to see."
We do. I have this one. Ye oldie secret, ye secret of ye philosopher's stone. I can't even rightly read the title of it. I was wondering if you might be able to help me read it. And also, I was wondering if you might have any lore about the merfolk songstress that's rumored to have been murdered on the island in the bay.
Dang. Wow, his eyebrows kind of shoot up at that question. And he says, he kind of looks almost superstitiously off to the island off the coast of Saltmarsh. And he says, "That's not a story a lot of people know or talk about. How did you come by that info? You know what? Come in. We'll speak in the library." And if you take his invitation, he leads you to his library.
Absolutely.
It's very Beauty and the Beast. You know what I'm saying? This is, it's like, it's a real like bibliophile panty dropper library. You know what I'm saying? It's real. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're into libraries of books, like this is obviously where all this man's adventuring money went. Was to this library. So it's a nice library.
Can I browse? Not like walking up, but I just want to like look to see mushroom
library
books.
would be on par with a university. Like
Ooh,
it is.
okay.
It is that well maintained. Yeah. So good stuff. You do see that there is a half orc there. He is sitting on a couch. He looks like he buys all of his clothes from Hot Topic, and he has his boots. He has his boots up on a little coffee table, and he has his readers on, and he is reading a bunch of spooky-looking books. This individual. Let's see if I've got some art for him. Oh yeah, there he is. He is a half orc. He looks like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. And he kind of looks up from his book, and he does like a 2-finger wave, licks his fingers, and goes back to turning the pages. And Eleander says, "That's Crag. He works over at the graveyard, but he has a talent for the arcane arts, so I've been allowing him to study here. Trying to keep him out of the notice of a certain red wizard." And he kind of makes a sour face. So let's compartmentalize it and then unpack one thing at a time. Book on the Philosopher's Stone, adorable. You hang out with a guy that can turn lead into gold 2 times a day. So a long time ago, that's all everybody could think about, was coming up with a way to turn things into gold. But it happened. It happened. Everybody figured it out. I guess from a collectability standpoint, it could be an interesting addition to my collection. Are you looking to sell it, or were you actually hoping to learn how to make lead into gold? Because you could do it. It happens. Because it happens, though, that sort of thing is closely regulated, of course, by the Mage Council of the Sword Coast, in the same way that they don't like the more advanced technology and steam functions that they're working on down in Lantam. They try to control that sort of thing. Basically, they're trying to avoid a matriarchy, right? Like the Netherese Empire of old. It's a self-managing process, right? Self-governing process. A power check system to make sure that wizards don't take over everything again. Because the last time wizards were in charge, they were cutting the tops off of mountains, spinning them upside down, building floating cities on them, and then building living war machines and tearing the world apart, killing gods, that sort of thing. So I'm not saying that your buddy, Fireforge, is that his name? Yeah, I don't think that he's going to be causing, a collapse of the local economy with the gifts that Gond has given him. But obviously, as terrible as it sounds, sentient beings by their nature are not communists or socialists. So we can't really convince the people in power that it would be okay for everybody to turn their copper pieces into gold pieces and tank the economy, right? There's a status quo at work. And he's going on, right? He's ready to talk to you for 3 hours about how magic affects the economy, and he thought that you two were here for some real nerd stuff, you know what I'm saying? So he's getting into it. At any time, of course, you could stop him, or you could just learn a hell of a lot about how magic affects socioeconomic growth within the Sword Coast. But I'm not going to role play it out for you because we have other things to do tonight. But basically that's he kind of goes on and on for a while. And then he says, and there you have it. And that's why we can't just turn everything into gold. But yeah, are you interested in selling the book? Or
you make a number of excellent points. I think the most interested in, maybe I could swap it for an alchemy primer if you've got one to spare.
How about this? You seem like fantastic people, and you've already done great things for the town, and you seem you must be good people, or Owlland wouldn't have taken a liking to you. And she is an excellent judge of character, except for that Prime Warder guy. But I don't want to complicate things. How about this? I'll let you use the library, just like I let Crag use the library. And in exchange, you run any books you find in your adventuring past me first. Give me first rights to buy them before you take them anywhere else.
Of course. I mean, I look at Illyria, but that sounds great.
Does that sound like a good deal? I mean, I can't really leave the town and get out much. And honestly, a lot of books don't make it through town, and the ones that do get snatched up by the Red Wizard. So
I dig out the dirty book that we got in the house of the spoopy house.
Oh,
and ask him if he wants it.
Yeah, he blushes. He blushes a bit, and he's like, "Well, I mean, academically, of course."
So to be clear, I think Toothless still has that.
Oh, did you take the adult book
of dirty poetry?
I thought I took it.
No, it's in my character sheet.
All right.
All right.
I don't. I tell
pretty much gave everything to Toothless the junk.
And as you do, you see one baby spider crawl out of your bag, and you know exactly where the dirty book is.
That's amazing.
And he says, well, if you don't have it, I understand. I mean, all sorts of books are important, of course, for cultural value, et cetera, et cetera. This didn't happen to be the one about the Dragonborn maid, did it? What's
that?
I don't know. Now I'm curious.
That was like a series. There was like a series of 7. They're extremely rare because they came from the other version of Tyrell. So only a few complete sets are in the whole world. And the Dragonborn are real embarrassed about it, so they make a point of burning any copies they find. But it's apparently.
Well, if we come across any copies, we'll definitely bring them to you.
Yeah,
I actually have a book.
Oh, you have a book?
I don't know if this would interest you, but I do have a book of pressed flowers that we found in that house as well.
Okay. Are there notes
pressed
on the
flowers and leaves? I don't know if there that we Haxel found it in the house that crawls and he gave it to me.
All right. So he kind of he takes it over to his book station. This is very much like, there's like the glue and the gloves and, all the stuff for rebinding and repairing books and all that. This guy's all in for books. Yeah. And he puts his gloves on and takes the book from you if you're willing to give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he starts kind of paging through it. And he says, it's a shame. You can see here where some of the dye from the plants has discolored the pages. Artistically, an interesting piece, but the book itself is rather derivative, just a common collection of plays and stories that were popular in the region, several hundred years ago. And the flowers may or may not have value to, say, an herbalist, but as far as I am concerned, I don't have a need for the book. So
okay.
So that
I do.
I
Show him the metaphysics of mathematics and
Okay.
elven fashion.
Yeah, he says both of those books with a little bit of repair could be put back into circulation. I could give you 10 gold each.
Sure. Or I could just give them to you. I mean, it's such an honor to be able to use this library, and I'm sure your goodwill and your knowledge is infinitely more valuable than any book that we could bring you. So
that's appreciated.
Just take it here, please.
Okay. And then he kind of says, Candela, and you see a strange looking dragon type creature come floating down. It smells of candle wax. It's roughly the size of a house cat. You may attempt an Arcana check to see if you can identify what this creature is. Let's see. Oof. Yeah. It looks like a small kind of like pinkish purplish dragon. To the best of your knowledge, it is pretty fascinating to look at, to be sure. And it looks at both of you and it says, hello, thank you. And it's kind of gathers up the 2 books with a great effort and sort of flies them over to a cart next to the table and begins to sort them. All right.
What is that? What sort of creature is that?
Oh, that's a candle drake. It's like a dragon. It's like a pseudo dragon, but like just really into books. Have you heard of Candlekeep?
No.
Oh, it's well, actually, you guys could probably roll history checks because that's pretty. It's kind of famous, I guess, in the Sword Coast. Oh yeah, you both have heard of it. So Candlekeep is the most library of all libraries in Faerun. It is rumored to be like 30 floors deep of library dungeon. It is just every possible recorded book in the history of the world, scroll, spell, everything is there. It is some book hotness. So that's what he's referring to. So yeah, you guys have heard of it. And then then he just says, so yeah, basically over the centuries, pseudo dragons that were drawn to Candlekeep, they sort of evolved, I guess, into candle drakes. They're basically they're, rather than having fey abilities and more natural abilities, their abilities are more suited towards libraries and books, as if their libraries are their natural habitat. Yeah, and they eat candles, so that's interesting.
So cool.
Yeah. And she kind of looks over at you and waves a little bit. She has her little spectacles on, her snoot, and she is kind of poring over the book and jotting down notes. So she and I met a long time ago, the whole familiar thing, that sort of thing. Yes. Anyways, so the next thing to unpack is the this ghost story that you're talking about. What did you want to know?
Well, I feel like I can trust you, and can I? Do I actually feel like I can?
Yeah,
trust him?
you can insight him. Let me roll some secret dice back here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can definitely trust him.
But yeah, I feel like I can trust you. I motion to my instruments, and I'm a bard, and I've just felt drawn to the songs there, and somehow I feel an affinity with the island. And I was talking to the lizard folk, and they were saying that someone was murdered there, and her soul was maybe taken. And so I was just wondering if there was a way that I could help put it to rest. But I'm sort of in the information gathering phase now.
You see his teeth kind of show, and in a very uncomfortable, like, facial expression as you're telling the story, sort of like he's sad to tell you what he's going to tell you kind of expression, as he listens to you, and he says, honestly, it has been put to rest in a way that doesn't seem to bring harm to anyone. The olden settlers of Saltmarsh, this was a very dangerous and inhospitable place. So close to the lizard marshes, so close to the hag forests of the south. Dragons, lizard folk, evil fae, not to mention coastal predators and opportunistic aquatic hunters. The original settlers of Saltmarsh struggled. It's a dark spot, a black spot on the history of the town, to be sure. But in the earliest days, when desperation set in, the people of Saltmarsh turned to powers best left uncontacted for aid and assistance. Nowadays, the priest of Umberlee would convince you that the being in question was Umberlee, and through her divine right and might and all that nonsense, she spared Saltmarsh and turned her anger towards others, and in her absence, the town was able to flourish. But unfortunately, that is not even close to the case. Some entity deep in the sea contacted the people of Saltmarsh and made a deal. And part of that deal was the sacrifice, ritual sacrifice of intelligent, mostly, I suppose, good, if such a thing truly exists, individuals in her name, blood sacrifices of merfolk, of sea elves. And in exchange for these acts and this blood, the town was able to flourish. Eventually, the town flourished so much that, as people and places often do when they are successful, they forget those who help them become successful. There was a brief time where the ghosts of those who were wronged by the early settlers was a problem. But adventurers were brought in and the problem was contained. And he kind of like points out the window at the island, and they are still contained to this day. It is a best practice not to go to the island and to not speak of the island, lest get ready for it. I'm going to say the title of the module: Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
You said it.
Become a very real problem again.
Mm.
So, yes, you said that you heard this from the lizard folk. Then is that correct?
I did.
Yeah. So it seems that they tell the story of our foolishness more truthfully and more honestly than we do. That's very telling.
Well, in fairness, I don't think they get dissembling really as a cultural concept, but yeah, that is telling.
Yeah, true. It's very true. Oh, wow. Well, there you have it. That's the situation with that. I don't know what more I could tell you. I mean, I guess if I were to give you full disclosure, buried beneath that island is, I guess you'd probably call it a dungeon, wherein the ghosts of those sacrifices are kept entombed, so as not to bring their wrath upon the living.
But we should definitely not go there, like you're saying.
He looks at the black feathered pigeon in the window, and he says, "Yeah, yes, Pharaoh's the plot pigeon. That is correct." And then there's like a cuckoo, and it like flies off ominously towards the island. Yeah, so that's that situation. Yeah, I wish there was a happier tale for that one. But enough about that. If our arrangement is made, you are free to come and go to the library as you will. I will have Candela whip you up some library cards. If you present them to my guards, you can come and go as you please. If it is after hours, I ask that you keep it down. You know, I don't want the rest of the household to be disturbed. So,
of course. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And don't give up on old Owland. She is the heart of this town, and I wish things between her and I hadn't soured as much as they have. So, it was sort of a sad look on his face. He just kind of says, "Well, she refuses to even listen to what the representatives of Daggerford have to say. She is so convinced that giving a single inch would be the small stone tumbling down the mountain that would be the avalanche of the collapse of freedom." And then he kind of shakes his fist in the air angrily, like she tends to do. But unified strength with such a strong and well-established nation that would keep us safe from pirates, from organized crime, from the corruption of the Zentarum. It would definitely it would benefit us in so many ways. And yes, it would bring taxes to the area, and yes, it would mean that the local council would have to allow representatives from Daggerford on that council, and it would mean change. Change is not always bad. If Saltmarsh had never changed, we'd still be sacrificing mermaid virgins to unknown powers of the depths.
That's, yeah. Well, thank you for your time. I'm sure I'll see you the next time we're in town. So thank you. Be well.
All right, and so he heads out, and that would kind of close scene for you guys there. And then I guess in the morning you would track down your elf buddy, Pharos.
I assume Illyria was just like copying furiously stuff into her.
Yeah, like she was talking, and I was like, "Okay, we got permission. I'm going over here."
Yeah,
And...
you go through and you see those goddamn float patties that you couldn't identify. That Toothless just absently like walked up and was like, "Oh, those float patties," and you're like, "There it is. That's what it was." Yeah, and you just yeah. Okay. So the next day, Pharos, you are now equipped with your super cool looking medium armor and halberd, courtesy of Fireforge Industries. So just whatever you wanted to get, I guess just mark off half the listed PHP price. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
All right. And you can now meet with Oceanus. Oceanus is to be found over by the ship. He is only slightly hungover, and he is sort of smiling out at the waves.
Is everyone kind of going back there, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I kind of thought that it'd be best to try to talk to this dude with everyone involved. Does that sound
right.
good?
Yeah,
that sounds good.
So you guys sort of agreed to meet at the ship the next morning, and then kind of talk to Oceanus about what you are going to ask of him. So do you want to discuss what you're going to ask of him, or do you want to just unfold organically during the conversation?
I would do a little pre-discussion.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, do we want to have him join us?
I don't know. He's only a baby. as far as the stats go, I guess, on the crew sheet anyway.
It sounded like
he's a fighter, though.
Older
yeah, it
actually has a class.
But then he'll be exhausted.
Yeah,
but he knows this. So he knows the sea. He can talk to sea creatures. He probably, if we run into sea elves, he might be useful. Like
there was a couple things I wanted to ask him. One was like, because they're sea elves that live underwater, right? They likely have visitors every once in a while who don't breathe underwater. I was going to ask him about how they accommodate those people, like Harry Potter, where they eat the thing and they can breathe underwater.
Gillyweed.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to ask him about that. They learn a little more about his town, maybe.
But if he seems friendly, do we want him on our ship as kind of like an ambassador? Or...
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I imagine
we'll
eventually go visit the sea elves eventually.
On our ship no matter what, right?
I don't think it wouldn't be bad to keep him around. That way we can suck his blood dry.
No.
I mean,
no, yeah, not that. Definitely not that.
Like, hey, I hate to bring this up, but
yeah, we need
need you.
If he can give us any more information about because I imagine the sea elves and the Sahaugen have been fighting a lot longer than the sea elves and the Sahaugen and the lizard folk. Maybe he has more insight, or his people have more insight on the weapon or the dungeon.
I like it.
Yeah. Because you're level 5 now, so we can get you to cast While Breathing on us if we need to go down. But if, in case you're unavailable to do that, or some other...
Yeah, things happen.
Him coming with us? Maybe not.
Are we going to be friendly?
Go ahead.
It sounds like we're going to be friendly towards him, and then kind of get as much information as possible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
All right, let's make it so then.
Crash, I don't think you're transmitting.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Just listen.
It shows the circle green all constantly. So.
Oh yeah. That's just my blood pumping. Yeah. The microphone constantly
hopefully,
watching.
hopefully it's not your eyes bleeding.
Yeah, no, that was definitely earlier today. The Discord for sound, I have to keep my pickup like really low, because when I first started using Discord, it would cut me off all the time because it would be like, I guess he's done talking. So I have to keep it really low, where it doesn't catch my voice half the time. So, all right, so you guys are ready to talk to him.
Aye.
Excellent. Yeah. So he turns and he sees all of you there, and he smiles in a way that is like, all of them are here at once. This is probably a very important conversation. So he kind of stands up and he says, "Hail and well met. What's going on?"
Well met, man from the sea. We have some questions for you.
I like that, man from the sea. I like that.
And then I guess Toothless would look to Skull at that point. And Skull, if you want to go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry to put you on the spot if you don't.
We just talked about it. I don't know how I just go right into. We need your blood. No, wait.
Whoa! All right, is that
no? No, someone else, please. I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
While the beautiful dragon person considers his next question, what can you tell us?
You have two of them now. He kind of points over at Pharos.
Oh. Yes, beautiful and most beautiful. They're very difficult to differentiate between.
Yeah. What are the odds, honestly? Aren't they from like another planet or something?
Did they look like brothers?
They do, don't you think?
I feel that's a little racist. But I guess I mean they look like brothers in that they're both like the same species of the same coloration, but like Skull has like the swoopy horns coming out that look like it would make it very hard for him to give anyone kisses. And then the other one doesn't have horns going forward. He's got like a little crest going on, you know? And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. So.
Well, let me begin.
Oh, sure.
We would you help us fight the weird shark tooth people from the deeps?
The Sahuagin. Yeah, absolutely.
If that's what you call them.
Yeah, if they're are they around? I mean, this is the land, right? Are they raiding your fishing communities or something? I haven't heard anything in the last couple of days about such attacks. There was some nonsense about harpies, I guess, causing some problems along the coast, but that was the only thing I heard about.
We saw these people to the north. We're wondering what you can tell them about us, or tell them.
Well, I would never tell them about you, Toothless.
Yeah. Thank you. He appreciates that.
But I can tell you what I know about the Sahuagin. If you
excellent.
Yeah. First and foremost, the name is miserable to try and say, so we'll just put that out there. No one will ever hold you accountable for pronouncing it wrong because I don't even think they can pronounce it correctly half the time. So we'll just get that out of the way first and foremost. The Sahuagin are the most reviled, the most selfish, and the most evil creatures.
Yeah, tell me.
In all of creation. So the underwater world, it's like, I don't know, 10 times the size of the surface world. There's a lot of shit down there that you guys don't know about. It's crazy town. These guys are the worst. Period. I hear a lot of talk about orcs, right? Orcs ain't bad. Sahuagin are bad. Orcs, from what I understand, at least the wild, crazy ones that seem to be causing problems that people are upset about, they're kind of dumb. And that dumbness sort of lends them some predictability. Sahaugen are, at their worst, brilliant, and at their best, maniacal geniuses. They are very hard to deal with, and they're always up to shit. Always up to shit. And they've got these things called Malenti that look exactly like sea elves. Could you imagine what it's like to grow up in a community where everyone is worried that that their neighbor might be like a shark person in disguise? It's not a good feeling at all. And like they hate us for some reason. I mean, they hate everybody, but it feels like they hate us the most. We are always dealing with them. I guess land how it's pronounced that they're dealing with all the time. This doesn't even, those guys are amateurs. Like Sahaugen, I mean, they're making deals with krakens, they're making deals with like great old ones. They're always trying to do stuff like open a rift to the elemental plane of ooze and flood the ocean with acid, like just crazy stuff. They're always up to nonsense. Anyways, they also have trouble getting along for the most part, so they live in communities of about like 40 or 50. They're led by a dude. The dude usually goes by the title of Baron. Inevitably, he's the biggest guy that's got the most arms. They also they hate arcane magic. They only have priestesses, and only the females are allowed to be priests. So that's kind of weird. Their deity is a big shark named Sekala. Oh yeah, like we have the ability, we being like sea elves, to sort of communicate with animals. It's not great, I'll be honest. I can kind of be like, hey, it'd be nice if you went and got me like some sea kelp for lunch. And like they'll do that, but we can't have like a meaningful conversation. The Sahaugen have total control over sharks and shark-like creatures. Like all of them do. Yeah, it's crazy. So they, yeah, I don't know. I hate them so much. I understand that you're not supposed to carry hate around in your heart. You know, it's a heavy weight, heavy burden, but they're just so awful, Toothless. They're just the worst.
You said up to this shit. Where do they put their poop?
Oh, yes. That is like to say all sorts of bad stuff. They want to do it. They want to steal babies. They want to eat babies. They want to like have. They love having slaves. Here, Toothless, tell me something really bad. What's something really bad?
To steal a hatchling, a baby.
Oh yes. Oh, Yep, they will do that. They will do that. Give me something else bad.
Oh, they would pee on your mother's face.
Oh
wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
I mean,
God damn it!
Honestly, underwater.
I'm gonna cut in here soon.
Yeah, underwater, that's a little harder to pull off. And honestly, we're not into kink shaming where I come from, so that's really not that bad. But the baby thing for sure. The baby thing for sure. Look, the point is, my life is nothing if it could be laid down in the pursuit of stopping the Sahaugen. And I'm sort of a carefree, blasé playboy, and I feel that way. So just imagine how awful these things are. Has anybody told you that underwater we have a race of vampiric stingrays? And I don't mean like I don't mean like vampiric like you know, like a vampire. What are they called? Bats, something like that. They're like they have wings, right? Like a dragon wings, but they're furry.
Like a sturge.
Whatever that is exactly. So yeah, we have these vampiric stingrays. They're actual fucking vampires that are stingrays. They hate the Sahaugen. Wow. That's how bad they are. So yeah, whatever you guys need. If you're going up against the Sahaugen, I'm game.
Well, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
While we were visiting the lizard folk, we stumbled upon an ancient, some ancient ruins.
Mm-hmm.
The Saugen were exploring it, looking for a very powerful weapon, apparently.
Okay.
We
Sounds
stopped.
about right.
We destroyed all of them that were in there, but in order to stop them from getting the weapon to get us more time, we brought back these 2 keys, and I'll point to the keys that are behind him, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I wasn't gonna ask you about those 2 huge green balls that you were rolling around. I thought it was like an exercise plan, like because here on the surface with you dealing with gravity and all that, you have to really work a lot harder to stay in shape. So okay, so those are keys then. That must be a big lock.
Unknown as of now, but they're activated by the blood of your people.
Okay.
So here's where it gets real awkward.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like it's gonna get real awkward. Are you gonna kill me?
No.
No, we will not.
Okay. All right.
Thorgrim's gonna tuck his hammer behind his back.
What?
Just a joke.
Tendencies. Oh my gosh. Never even considered it.
Yeah.
Okay. He gives you like a nervous smile, and he's like, "Okay, cool. Just checking."
We were wondering if you'd let us have some of your blood in good faith that we will prevent them from getting a more powerful weapon.
Wait, how much of his blood do we need? Like, we should.
We have.
Well,
I think we
we
had 2
need,
vials.
There's a lot happening.
Are they still
here.
good? I don't know if they're still good though, because that's what Oakham was saying, that they were
Oakham
like
was
coagulating,
worried
right?
that they would not be fresh enough to activate the keys.
Yeah. So we have 0.
Okay.
No, but how big is a vial? Are we talking like killing a person, or
the
It's an
way it was
exhaustion
described to
level.
you, the meta knowledge you took away from it is that he would gain a point of exhaustion probably, and more than likely lose a hit die from his reserve of hit dice. So like how you guys use hit dice when you take rest and stuff like that. That would represent sort of the loss of the blood necessary to do this. So it's a pretty significant amount. Yeah, it's enough blood loss that he would want an orange juice and a free sandwich afterwards.
And maybe like a cure wounds from our cleric.
Yeah. This would be. I mean, a point of exhaustion would be more of like needing some restoration almost, or just simply some rest to recover. Now you can function with exhaustion, but if you get 5 levels of exhaustion, I think you die from exhaustion.
Yeah.
So that sort of represents if you were to bleed the person too much and then they died. So the loss of blood would be reflected in exhaustion levels and loss of hit dice. So what you're asking is for a lot of blood. Oakham, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the dude was going through some stuff, right? He was, 5 days of watching like the people he hired get killed and eaten by Sahaugen. The horrors that he and Pharaohs faced down in the depths of those flooded caverns, dealing with the shark and that giant octopus. I mean, the guy was kind of like, I saved their blood. I saved it in my wineskins. Yeah. Anybody with a medical license knows that's probably not a good idea. Or medicine skill knows that, the blood's not going to keep very well in no wineskin, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Oh, so, okay. So it's the kind of thing we should, if he agrees to it, we should wait until we're about to head off then.
Yeah, or just have better ways of storing it than
go find like
someone
good at medicine to do it.
So, but that being said, it sounds like he is still willing to go with you, but he does want to unpack a couple things. So he just says, I don't want to be I want to be as accommodating as possible. But you want to unlock this for the Sahaugen?
No, we do it to prevent them from
Oh, I see. Yeah, and it's a pretty easy logic jump to be like, oh, there's a lot of other sea elves they could get a hold of, and then if you have the keys, how many keys are there? Like, don't you have all the keys?
Yeah, for the 5 keys.
There's
There's
4 or
two
5.
keys.
I think it was 4
How
or
many?
5. You
I
said?
mean, can they do it without the keys that you have? The keys that are right here, these keys?
They cannot,
No.
Oh,
as far as we know.
So case closed, right? I mean, boom, you just don't
Well,
let
they're
them have
still
those keys.
releasing
Well,
something
Yeah.
regardless. The weapon is an offering for the creature.
Oh, okay.
And there are
Is
more
this one of those
artifacts.
things like you're hoping to get your hands on the weapon to get a better understanding of your enemy, or is it like you want to use the weapon against them, fire against fire, right? That's the saying up here, because you guys are into fire up here, right?
To be honest,
It's better
we
than the
do not
alternative.
know, but we will. Hopefully, this will help us ensure their defeat.
So this is a mission of understanding. Like nobody here is gonna like harness this potentially evil weapon for their own power, right? And he kind of is giving you guys a scrutinizing look. He's like, he's rolling those insight checks.
Yeah. Toothless smiles at him.
Okay.
I
He
definitely
looks at
wouldn't.
you and he looks at your doll, and he kind of gives you a little head shake. And he kind of keeps going down the line. He looks hard at Spencer and he says, "All right, buddy. Do you think that these guys are in the right?" And Spencer looks at all of you thoughtfully, and his eyes kind of linger on Buddy for a little bit, and then he kind of looks at everybody else here, and he looks at Illyria, and his face just alights like a baby seeing its mother first thing in the morning. And he turns to Oceanus and he just says, "Honk." And Oceanus is like, "All right, I'm in. Let's do this."
Okay, so we will find a doctor.
It also occurs to me that if they really want this, they will definitely find out that you have it, and they will come and get it.
Exactly. That's why we need to go as quickly as possible.
And I'm thinking a town like this, they would probably bust out the coral golems for this one. So just imagine a 20-foot tall behemoth made of coral just destroying all of these docks and buildings while sharks swim around the bay and Sahaugen run everywhere, setting your buildings on fire. They have this real weird like napalm that they developed. It like underwater, it causes chemical burns, but when exposed to like air, it just bursts into flames. They even have like guys that go around with little packs and they shoot the stuff out like psst, and he starts making like a firefighter like kind of stance. Yeah, it's crazy.
How big is this? Sorry, how big is the how big is the civilization of Sahaugen? Like, is it a large civilization? Like,
oh yeah, I mean they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Like we hunt them actively. The vampire stingrays hunt them actively. It's never enough. Like for everyone that you kill, it feels like 2 or 3 more show up. It's rumored that they have massive cities in the deeper trenches of the ocean that most people are too afraid to go in, and that the Sahaugen that we deal with are the weakest and smallest of their race.
Do you know where any of their cities are?
Well, again, in this area, yeah, I'd say the biggest. There is a big stronghold near. I don't want to say nearby, but close enough that they could definitely get a pretty big force together. He kind of like he makes sort of a frustrated face, and he like splashes water on the dock, and he sort of draws for you like little circles in the water, and he's like, so they would have like a big like stronghold like right here, and then everywhere outside of here would be smaller strongholds, right? And then each of these smaller ones would have a baron, and all of these barons, right, could be called upon by the main stronghold's leader in times of need. but generally they're all independently operating, unless the big boy calls everybody in. Often we try to deal with them as much as we can when they're isolated. But the problem is that you attack like an isolated community, and more than likely this guy, as long as that community is still in good standing, he'll call everybody in to defend them. Not to mention the fact that they breed sharks like nobody's business. Yeah. What is it you guys have on land that breeds a lot? It's got the
rabbits.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, those things. Yeah, it like that. And they do weird stuff too. I've seen a lot of I don't want to be rude, but a lot of weird looking dogs, right? They do the same thing to the sharks. They kind of crossbreed them to get all kinds of weird combos.
Okay. Well, thank you for agreeing to help us. I know our goals align with yours. A couple more questions about your city. I know being underwater, you're unlikely to have a lot of visitors, but if you do have some land dwellers, how do you accommodate them? Question: Does the Sea Elf have guilds?
Oh, are you referring to the Sea Elf city of Manan, the hub of heroism and undersea daring do?
Is that where you're from?
Launching point of an entire campaign in and of itself that entirely takes place underwater. That city, my hometown, that place.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, we have some visitors districts that they're basically like bubble domes full of like air to make it easier for visitors from the surface to stay, because we understand that being submersed in water all the time, it can freak some people out. But generally we just you have water breathing potions, you have people that can cast water breathing, that sort of thing. There are recipes that generally you'd have trouble finding the ingredients for up here, that could create a cheaper, in my opinion, better water breathing potion. I mean, I know this Haugen developed their own mixture for their slaves, because they like to steal surface dwellers as well. Surface dwellers, I guess, make really good slaves, because how are you going to escape from underwater? Basically. So yeah.
Okay then. There's in the dungeon itself there was a large ravine, and we could not continue because we are not well equipped to deal with the pressure being underwater in general.
Oh, okay.
So
you want to know if I knew like some secret sea elf handshake that could like give you underwater breathing or something,
no, that is ridiculous.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just there are magical mysteries in the world, Mr. Skull, that it's entirely possible. There are some fake creatures that if they kiss you, you'll be able to breathe underwater. True story.
Nothing is ever given freely.
Oh, well, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys are going to go underwater, I can't really help you on that. My recommendation is you have somebody cast underwater breathing on you, or you air bladders, right? That's a thing. Why don't you just grab some air bladders, and as you run out of breath, you just take a little off the air bladder. Isn't that a technique that you guys do?
Right.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would just go with the potion. It's a lot easier, but I don't know how you guys are looking financially. I don't have any money. They took all my money, right? I'd chip in, I guess.
I imagine the lizard folk could probably give us a couple of potions. That woman that was showing us around initially said that she would give us whatever potions we needed, and I wouldn't mind talking to her about it.
So OOC, the tricky part about lizard folk and water breathing potions is they can hold their breath for like an hour, I think. right? Something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty
Toothless?
good.
That's correct. I mean, I do
Yeah.
have water breathing for which lasts for 24 hours.
Right. And then
Well,
they
now you
do
do.
have, she is a druid, so you could swing by and see if she would be willing to cast it on you. But that would be traveling at, what is it, like 90 minutes past your destination to talk to her and then back to the dungeon. So I don't know how much time you want to spend.
No, and I can cast water breathing, so I think we'll be okay there.
Okay.
I think.
Well, right, because you can hold your breath for an hour, and Tariq can breathe underwater, right? So, and then Oceans can breathe underwater. So those people are all covered. Spencer can breathe underwater.
Yeah, I can grant up to 10 willing creatures to breathe underwater for 24 hours as a
Boom,
ritual
problem
spell.
solved.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't actually breathe underwater. I can only hold my breath for 2 hours. But
Then, well, if
That's-
you can
Mammals.
if you can do 10 creatures and you can cast as a ritual, bam, done.
Yeah.
You just solved all their problems.
Problem solver.
Okay. So that seems to be taken care of. All right. Oceanus
Cool.
explains to you that he currently has leather armor, a light
I was gonna
crossbow.
say we need to equip him.
He has. I mean, he's trying to be very practical here. He has leather armor, he has light crossbow, and he has his trident. He can't get much more into it than that without going full meta. But he is. If I were to put a numerical value on how challenging it would be to fight Oceanus, I would not be able to give him a full integer. Yeah.
Does he
Yes.
need to go with us? He doesn't.
yeah, I don't think he does.
That being said, he has 4 hit dice. So,
Okay.
How much health does he have?
Okay. I mean, you can math out that with 4 hit dice.
He's a fighter.
He's very fit, so he's got a very good constitution. Probably about 30 hit points.
Okay.
All right, guys. Are we gonna go visit the dungeon?
Yeah.
What's the
Right
plan?
this second.
I mean,
Yeah, sure. Well, I want so basically we're gonna secure the services of a doctor to properly bleed you.
Well, I mean, anybody that's trained in the medicine skill could do it.
Okay. I was just worried about there being an accident.
Not
I mean, I can.
toothless.
Bards are proficient in everything.
Bard. You're proficient in every skill. No problem.
go Bard.
All right. If that is the plan, there would obviously be the funeral that night. Would you head out after the funeral and just travel in the evening and kind of dip down into the dungeon after dark?
Okay, yeah, that would be less than a day since we left, so.
Okay.
Or like over a day. I'm saying they might get confused. If they were using scrying or whatever augury to find out where the keys are, maybe we can confuse them.
Oh yeah, especially if you're changing locations so rapidly.
Yeah.
Because depending on
we need to warn Gellin about possible attack first, though. We need to tell them, the council, that we got some hot goods. And
all right, so in the interest of kind of moving things along, not that role play is not the core factor of the game. You guys would swing by Gellin is who you want to inform of this?
Yeah, I want to warn him.
Okay.
To keep a lookout.
You go and you tell Gellin that there could be some Sahaugan attacks. You're trying your best to mitigate that. Is that sort of the general message?
Yes.
Okay.
What about that really strong wizard at the library? Not the one with the mean one.
Kelidek.
We haven't talked to him yet.
Oh.
Kelidek, you talk to Kelidek's people, and then they get back to you whether or not you could talk to Kelidek. There's no talking to Kelidek. That doesn't happen. So, yeah. You could schedule an appointment several months in advance. Kelidek will not show up for it. So, if you do want to run into Kelidek, it's pretty easy. Go down to the marketplace and protest the prices of arcane spells.
Try and buy something that's magical.
I am sure you will run into Kelidek pretty quick. So
just tell everyone to become warlocks instead of wizards, and then.
Oh man, yeah, that would not go over very well. You would definitely meet Keldek pretty quick if you did that. So put a pin in that one because that's definitely a possibility. Prime Mortar is concerned, obviously, for the safety of the town. He will seed the information so that it gets to the guards in a manner that they will hopefully find believable. Best that you don't ask about those details. And he will do his best to ensure that the town is on watch for these possibilities. Yeah, so other than that, Skull, do you just go talk to him yourself real quick to drop this information while everybody's doing their preparation kind of deal, or
I guess.
like what's okay.
Unless anyone wants to come with, I'm just quickly gonna tell him.
Sure. I mean, you could even run into him at the Mariners Guild if you were kind of going there to sort of judge whether or not it would be good. Like, he does hang out there sometimes. So I guess you guys could have run into each other there, had like a walk on the docks kind of thing, and discussed this, possible danger.
If we're going to handle crew stuff during the week, I guess we could put, talk to the Mariners Guild that we're looking for people, and then role play that out through the week.
He also puts out there that he has a similar opinion that the cleric of Valcor has, that he was kind of hoping for a bit more from the lizard folk, and he kind of feels like they that a big investment was made and the payoff doesn't seem to be so great. Like, he kind of thought, that the town would be able to get a little bit more out of the lizard folk for your guys' assistance. So, but he is glad that the lizard folk are not a threat to the town. But he was, he's a businessman, so he was kind of hoping for a bit more profitable outcome.
Right. As if once we complete this last service, we will run it by. We will toss the idea by them and explain that an alliance would be better than.
So Well-Handed was like, oh, cultural identity. I wish these people, were confident enough to accept help from others, blah, blah, blah. Goodness, spirituality, love, strength, that kind of thing. Prime Mortar's like, kind of sucks that we didn't make some more money off of this situation. That's kind of his thing. It's not like, oh, those poor lizard folk, they're so confused and lost, blah, blah. He's just like, damn, I really kind of thought we could, get a little bit more out of them, sort of thing. So definitely two different individuals that were looking for a similar outcome, but for very different reasons. Is your takeaway on that one?
Should I bring like a peace treaty or something from the council, or do you think that's necessary? Like to kind of.
He doesn't think that they would care about a peace
they don't
treaty,
care.
from what he understands of the lizard folk. It would very much be you represent Saltmarsh now, so what you do and what you say and what you promise reflects on the entire city. No pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well.
So, all right. Because again, as the lizard folk, they're gonna just say like, "Oh, these people are from Saltmarsh. They obviously represent Saltmarsh." The end. Like, they're not really going to overthink it. Like, they're a very lawful, neutral society, so they would assume that your society is also like follows the same kind of mindset. So you are from Saltmarsh. You represent Saltmarsh. You would never lie or mislead them. That's crazy talk. All right. So if you guys, after the funeral, which is very lovely, there's a boat, the arrows fired. We won't make anyone roll because dice are cruel, and I don't want anyone to miss. I want anyone to miss that arrow shot.
Another one, and then another one,
and then you just start.
Let's do it! Hail of Thorns, go!
You start hitting Thogron with your crossbow. This is all your fault. The whole funeral.
You didn't fix it.
but
now he's out of range. Let's do it at disadvantage now.
I don't know. That's a massive fucking range.
Illyria, will you be our crossbow shooter? Do you think?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So you fire the flaming crossbow bolts that lights his tiny funeral canoe ablaze, and the world bids adieu to Captain Scarf, and eventually he sinks below the waves. So, all right.
Okay, it would have hit. It would have hit.
There you go. I knew you'd have to know in your heart if you hit the shot.
Max damage too.
You blow a hole in the side of the canoe with your freaking shotgun. Yes. No, I think good. You paid for a funeral, so all the things are done to the corpse to minimize the chances of coming back as an undead.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's all part of that 25 gold piece. If you don't pay 25 gold piece, that's how you get spooks, as you don't pay for the funeral costs. All right, so that is taken care of. He was kind of an odd but known figure in town. There are many people from sort of the seedier regions of town who show up. There's a good chance that some of you are pickpocketed small amounts of money by the people in attendance for this funeral. There is a bit of an awkward thing at the end because there's like some priests of Umberley who are like, now his soul belongs to the bitch queen, and they're like dressed up in their like cultist robes, and they're like handing out flyers about why you should like join the cult of Umberley, and it's real uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? But religious freedom's a thing in Saltmarsh, so the guards won't do anything about it. But they're basically just like Haxel's soul is down in the depths with the queen, and real awkward stuff that may or may not make you guys feel comfortable. Does anybody want to engage cultists or punch them in the face, or do you just accept that this is a part of religious freedom and move on with your lives?
How many
are they
holding
worth any
signs
XP?
that say Umberley hates?
I mean, it's you're not off base with that assumption. It's pretty much that flavor. It is definitely some Westboro Baptist Church vibes coming off of these cultists, but yeah, it's
they're assholes,
society.
but they've got the right to assemble, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what the guards
Yeah.
inform you. Yeah, the guards inform you that not everybody agrees with them, but they do have a right to be here just like everybody else. So
Can I walk over to the one that looks like it's in charge?
Yeah.
Kick him in the shin.
It is a wild-eyed woman wearing mascara in the Witcher 3 style, which is to say she sort of looks like a raccoon, a little bit like a raccoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so she sees you approach. She has purple lipstick on, and her hair she has dyed a couple of streaks of blue, purple, and green, which are colors that Umberley likes. She has a lot of jewelry and some nice purple ceremonial robes. You see that she has an anthem, which is like a fancy dagger at her waist, and she sees you approach, and it's a look of like, oh, it's one of those Gond priests on her face as you approach.
I'm just gonna walk up and like, as soon as it seems like no one's kind of paying attention, I want to cast command.
Oh, okay. All right. This is a charisma save, right? For
wisdom. Is
it wisdom? Okay. Bane's charisma save. That's right. All right. Let me check. Yeah. Here we go. 14. Yay, nay.
DC is 14.
14. So she just makes it. But what did you command her to do?
I was just gonna tell her to be gone.
Oh,
disperse.
She kind of sneers at you, and she says, "I'll be gone when the bitch queen calls me home. In the meantime, I profit the truth."
Well, fair enough.
It's like, I kind of like motion. It's like, hey, if you want a cult to join, like make like the call me symbol. It's like call me.
All
I like
right.
it.
Okay, so you guys pack up. As the sun is setting, it is dark and spooky, but you have grown confident in Illyria's abilities to guide you through the dangers of Saltmarsh, Dunwater, and the greater region known as Lizard Marsh, because he ran out of names in his name book. All right, so go ahead and give me a survival check there, Illyria.
Straight, just normal.
No, you have advantage because Tari is trained in every skill in the game, so she can give
Let's
you.
do it.
Yeah.
No problem. You have made this trip a couple times now, and you managed to get everybody back there lickety split. You want me to teleport you to the island, which doesn't have anything new to report, or do you want to just go right back into the dungeon, or do you want to go right back into the dungeon to a certain point in the dungeon? Yes, I am offering a fast travel option. It doesn't happen often, but you know, in this instance, you have kind of done some work in the dungeon already, and you did return fast enough that Sahaugen reinforcements have not arrived.
Yes.
Yes,
take
to
it.
all
We'll
of
take
it.
it.
Okay.
We'll take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right.
Let's do
That's
the
a
fast
deal.
travel. Yeah, we're
So,
doing all of that.
And
all right. I will paste your
we
mini
did
tours onto
harvest,
the swamp island at the beginning of the Flooded Caverns and in 6 different locations within the Flooded Caverns to accommodate the huge yes that I just received.
we did get the blood.
I think he plans to come with you, right? Is he not allowed to come with you?
I mean, for
So
the amount of
we
blood
definitely
need,
need.
we're gonna have to do it over a period of time, right? Like we.
Yeah, but he's gonna be like super fucking exhausted.
You just gotta
Right.
keep him safe. Protect the payload. Protect the payload.
I don't know.
Okay.
Do we...
Could we have like? Yeah, okay.
Because we don't know how much we need.
Yeah,
We have 2 that are inactivated.
We
We have 1
have-
that's hiding behind the shark. So we need like 3. So that's 3 levels with Josh. I don't think he'll.
Plus the 2 that we have.
Well, I think with 2 that we had is bad, right? Didn't we say that?
we don't.
Well,
yeah,
you don't-
we need
You definitely don't feel confident with the samples that.
No.
collected
I
by
mean like
Elkham.
the 2 orbs that we took that we need to recharge.
Correct. Yeah.
What if we? I guess maybe it probably doesn't work. The orbs. We don't know if the orbs work. Not on the pedestals, I guess.
Well, if anything, we have me and Tari, right?
I think we'd be good. I just don't want him to die. So if we feel like we'd leave him behind, that'd be safer. I don't know.
I can always put him in Liam's tiny hut.
Oh, you got a new spell.
The best one.
Oh yeah, for reals.
Yeah.
But
okay.
don't you have to stay in that? You have.
Yeah,
to
you have
with
to be in
that,
it.
yeah, with that,
Yeah,
you'd have
yeah.
to babysit him. Yeah. I mean,
Well, does he want? He wants to go, right? He wants.
Yeah, he definitely seems hyped to go. He definitely seems hyped to go. He said that his life laid down in protest against the Sahaugen is a worthy sacrifice. Like he straight.
Could we
up
have
said.
purchased like better vials to keep?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Longer? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go.
And then he said he needed some equipment. Could we have?
Well, he just
What did
told you what equipment he had. It's up to you if you feel like he needs more equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
What are his ranged options?
I mean, he's a fighter, so he has proficiency in all weapons.
Okay.
He can stay back with me.
Yeah, that's probably like.
He needs a crossbow though, so we'll get him a crossbow.
Oh, he
some
has
bolts.
he has a light crossbow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
All right. Let's go.
He's
Let's
he
go.
can take care of his own business. Yeah, he just wanted you to know, like, this is what I'm bringing to the, bring with me. I hope that's enough, kind of thing.
I'll give him one of my potions of healing just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, he gladly takes it. All right. So you guys head back and enter the spooky dungeon. do you want to? I guess we'll just go to the entrance because you still have
that first orb area.
Yeah, the first orb to deal with.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do that. Bloop. All right. So the first thing that you notice that is different is that all the Sahaugan bodies that you left behind have been stripped down to skeletons. There is no scale or flesh left on the bodies.
Like eaten?
Yes. Likely it was slimes. Slimes probably did that. Yeah. It's a natural process in the Dungeons and Dragons world. They are the best decomposers in the quote unquote animal kingdom. So alrighty. You guys should be able to see the map. If you can see the whole map, et cetera, we know by now what to do. Oh, also, we did find out that the weird bug that was happening with Roll20, I guess the best fix right now is, I probably should announce this at the beginning of the session, but my brain's not all the way there. Firefox Incognito browser. So you run an incognito version of Firefox. It basically strips everything down to like the barest bones, and it cuts down on the amount of cookies, I guess, because there's like caching and cookies that are causing issues with some of the Roll20 stuff. So in the future, if you want like the cleanest Roll20 experience you can have right now, that's probably your best browser option would be an incognito Firefox. So it's a little frustrating for me because I only have 2 monitors I'm working with right now. So I'm used to being able to have a million tabs on both monitors to go between. And but yeah, it's still, I find it is running a lot better, like as far as sound and loading of maps and seeing everybody's attacks and stuff like that. It's been a lot better. So all right, so you're in the dungeon. The dungeon is dark. If you require light or whatever, there is a macro for that. You can just select torch or light cantrip or whatever it is you use to see. If you have dark vision and it's not working for whatever, you can also turn it on that way. If you are a warlock and you've taken Devil Sight, that's not an option on light sources. Let me know and I will enable Devil Sight for you.
So I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna spend like an hour casting water breathing on everyone, I think.
Okay. I think as a ritual it should only be 10 minutes unless it specifically says that it takes an hour.
No, you're right.
No. I was curious because I think I've only seen it cast like once in the whole time I've been playing 5th edition because there's there's not a lot of campaigns that make you go underwater. So
yeah, I think you're totally right. So it's 10 hours on that, and then I'll cast dark vision on myself and anyone else, one other person who wants it.
Okay.
I have a torch for now, but I might ask for it later when we actually go down into the darkness.
Okay.
Where the torch cannot reach.
Because we're gonna go underwater at some point, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like they're right up ahead to the either direction. It's gonna be underwater.
I got my dry torches now. I'm gonna use one now. Before they get wet.
Special rules on like water conductivity to electricity. I just realized I had 2 electric themed spells.
No, fantastic question. So in 5th edition, the only thing that magic the only thing that affects magic underwater is spells that cast that require a verbal component. If you don't have underwater breathing and you're holding your breath and you go to cast a spell underwater, every spell you cast that has a verbal component will use up a minute of your breathing. As you kind of have to let air out and kind of say the words underwater. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing is anything that is completely submerged in water gains resistance to fire, even if it is magical fire. So a fireball will work normally underwater. It'll just do half damage because everybody will be resistant to it. A lightning bolt, as weird as it sounds, will just travel in a straight line underwater. It won't disperse through the water. It won't like create a weird sphere of electricity. Any sort of science and physics that you want to apply to it, Harry Dresden style, it doesn't work here. 5th edition magic was like, take your science, just get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. So basically, they all work the same underwater. So you don't have to worry about killing yourself when you use shocking hands or anything like that. Everything will still function properly.
Crash, can I ask you like a really annoying question?
Sure, sure.
I mean, hopefully it's not annoying. So conjure animals.
Yeah.
Is a druid spell. Some number of animals will appear, and then I give them verbal commands. And the question is, if I go into wild shape, would they remember the verbal commands I gave them? Like they're not very smart.
Your counterpart on Friday game, the most druid of all, his number one thing is to fight off by casting summon. Says kill all these monsters, and then as his bonus action, he turns into dire wolf and he joins the animals in killing all the monsters. So you could totally do that.
Okay, just wanted to...
No problem.
Cool.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
I take the I often take the route of choosing what animals are available for conjure animals, which is one of the things with that spell. Like the DM can decide what animals are available based on the region, kind of thing. Obviously, I wouldn't be okay with you summoning a bunch of wolves underwater, kind of thing. That sort of stuff. If you were in the Underdark, they'd probably be more Underdark-esque animals that you would summon versus the surface world, that sort of thing. It's not an effort to cripple the ability. Obviously, action economy in 5th edition makes that one of the greatest spells of all time. But it's just sort of a flavor thing, like the animals aren't even real animals. They're made out of like nature spirits and stuff like that. But thematically, they kind of follow closer to sort of the biome that you are in. That being said, the Sword Coast is the Sword Coast, so there are certain things that are more common than others, and there are certain things that could just be found everywhere. So it's one of those things we'll kind of go as go as we go, sort of thing. But...
No, I trust you a lot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. And that being said, I often will just give the druid control of all the animals because I like to punish the druid for having the audacity to summon so many monsters. It's good that you DM in your spare time because you should be able to handle all the creatures you'll be responsible for.
Yep.
All right.
Nicely played. I like it.
All right. So you're in the dungeon. It's spooky. There's Sahuagin skeletons everywhere. Oceanus kind of approaches one, and he pokes at it with his trident, and he kind of looks around. And you could tell that he's making a face like this is a bad place. That's what you see on his face.
Can I grab the 4-armed one, and I'll ask him if this is a Baron? I'll hold up his skull. If you could recognize it.
That would be this cutie right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that almost killed me. Yeah.
Yeah, he just nods. He says, "Did you guys kill that thing?"
After it killed Captain Scarf.
I'll
toss it.
I'd like to say that's about as tough as they get, but that's his leader. Leaders aren't always the strongest, basically. Some of them get pretty big too.
All right.
Man.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
To the left.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna follow Skull.
Okay, and then who is proficient in medicine? I am not.
Tari.
I don't have access to Spencer. Sorry.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's bloody looking. And so that we kind of go underwater here. Is that right?
Yeah, that's where it went underwater. Did we cast water breathing yet, or we were waiting?
No, you cast water breathing, and you got it for 24 hours. So.
Oh shit.
All right, you should have Spencer control now.
Thank you.
Oh, where'd shit. I left Buddy behind. Crash, would you mind finding Buddy?
Oh no! And then like the camera cuts to
Great, now he's not gonna be able to sleep tonight. Crash.
I know.
It's in Thogrim's backpack. He's in Thogrim's backpack.
The camera just cuts back to Saltmarsh and like Prime Orders presenting Buddy as a gift to his wife. He's like, hey, I know how much you love creepy shit.
Which is why you chose me.
Oh.
Oh, that's so cute.
Let's see. Why am I not getting this as an option for him?
Where's Buddy? He's so cute.
Right,
we're also missing one badger.
Oh, I'm already over here.
Oh, you're already at the place?
All right, you should have access to him now.
I use under.
Okay, cool. I'll just hang out over here.
Yeah.
With the torch.
Are you still hunting Buddy down? Oh my god, I feel so good. All right.
Yeah, I think Skull had the right of it. As Thogrim kind of plops down into the water and sinks to the bottom, you see Buddy float out of his backpack.
Okay.
On. What is it?
I have to ask, with the spiders, when you visit the druids and you show them your spiders, they know that you like to go swimming, and that, I mean, you know, they don't say this out loud to hurt your feelings, but it's known in the community that you're a bit absent-minded about a lot of things. They strongly offer to take the spiders and raise them in the druid grove.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. And they promise that you could visit them anytime you'd like.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice of them. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring them bugs from time to time.
Yeah, they explain that, you know, a single spider can eat, you know, 20 bajillion mosquitoes, and Saltmarsh has a real bad mosquito problem. So these spiders will be very helpful, and they plan to distribute them all over town. So
they got little uniforms on.
Yeah.
PK unit.
All right. So Oceanus is sticking close to you guys. He looks at the blood-stained stones. He looks at the dead Sahaugan skeletons. All right. Did you take his blood, Turi? Or do you want to take it when he is next to the orb?
Yeah, I thought we had to put the orb in first, and then, well, I don't know.
Say no.
Yeah, I mean, you could cut him and have him just bleed out into the air, or not the air, the water around it, do a little blood cloud type thing.
And I'll get
That's,
sucked
I
in,
mean,
just like
honestly, yeah,
like
honestly, it has to be activated on the altar, or not the altar, but the whatever it is, the little hands, the little tentacle hands. So
We have little vials. You just drop it.
Okay, well, let's try the blood we weren't sure about, and then we'll bleed him if it doesn't work.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
All right. So, he will sploosh down into the water and come with you to watch what's going on. You guys head over, and you have the 2 flasks from Oakham, and you're gonna try those first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You place the orb upon the tentacles, and you unstopper the wine and kind of squeeze out the stale, coagulated blood. It sort of slowly disperses as a cloud into the water, and you do see a bit of light kind of flicker within the orb, but it does not take. You take the second wineskin, unstopper it, kind of squirt that out into the water as well, and it does finally kind of flicker and then turn that sort of purple color. Nice. So it took both flasks to get the one going.
Nice
Crash, I can't see it. I can't see around the corner. I don't know if there is a corner though. Oh, there we are. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, I have to. Did you turn dark vision on your mini?
Who knows?
It
Probably,
should be a light source option. So here, I'll turn it on for you. There you go.
Cool. Thanks.
Hmm? All right. So you have that one activated.
One with the octopus. Should be on the lookout for more slimes.
Yeah, that was the easy one, I think.
Okay. All right. If you do a hero stack right here, I can move you guys to the lake. Oof, my map is being weird tonight. Some little flickers going on. Okay.
Can we be on the lookout for slimes
Theros,
as we
come back.
continue on?
I got a hero stack you. Oof. All right. Definitely can be on the lookout for slimes for sure. Let's see. Where are we going? Oh man. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see. All right, so you guys travel through. You go down under the water. You travel through. You see that even underwater, the skeletons that were left behind are now, the bodies that were left behind, including these big boys, are also now skeletons. Which you might be asking, well, what does a mermaid skeleton look like, Crash? My imagination is too tired. Don't
it's
worry.
good. Oh
I've
God.
got you.
Oh,
I've got you.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Crash. Thank
no
you.
worries. Yeah. I am always there with disturbing pictures. Do you want to see what the baby's skull looks like? I have a picture I could show you. It has lots of teeth. There are a lot of teeth in a baby's skull. Boy, howdy. Make any tooth fairy very excited to see. So, you guys, your hero stack ploops down next to this lake.
Oh, the lake.
Yep.
This is the shark lake, is that right?
This is the lake that the shark could theoretically free willy into, if it was so inclined.
Mm-hmm.
But it is separate from the river by a mighty 10-foot strip of land.
Okay.
I'm at least going to back up a little bit from
Okay.
this. Yeah.
I feel like we noticed the shark if it was here.
For sure. I mean, for a shark that big, it's got a pretty good stealth check, but yeah, you guys have some pretty good perception. There's like a 23 or so, floating around in here somewhere, so. But she's looking for you, Illyria. She's looking for you.
That bitch.
Man.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
She shakes an angry fin, thinking about all the times you shot her.
All right. I guess go big.
I just
go
have
home.
bolts with like
You
shark
carved her name
names.
into it.
Yeah.
Great white shark. It's a dumb pun. Just staring. Amazing pun. All right. Where's Oceanus? Here? Whoops. We left him.
He should be in the stack, right? I'm gonna go check.
Probably underneath someone. Thulgrim, is he underneath you?
Oh, whoops. He totally didn't get in the hero
he's not.
stack.
Okay.
Good call. He's not. Yeah, he didn't get stolen from you. Let me go grab him. So.
Yeah, and who's gonna put the blood into this little thing there?
I mean, he's like right there. He's like, I'll just go down with you, and you don't need to worry about a flask. I'll just bleed on the orb, right? It's not that bad.
All right.
Okay. Toothless will go with him then.
Doesn't Turi have to go too?
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to cut myself, but if you're a trained doctor, then perhaps that would be best.
Yeah, I think Turi will probably ideally go.
Yeah, he looks at you, Turi, and he's like, a beautiful doctor. Oh, sorry. And he jumps into the water. All right. Swims down.
Yeah, and we should make this very, very quick.
Okay.
So if Tari the doctor could swim over ASAP, that would be great. So that the rest of us don't have to swim in the water for too much longer.
All right. Tari, as much as you prefer to be in your seal form in the water, you realize that the humanoid hand's probably better for medical stuff than your adorable flippers. So.
Correct.
But I respect player agency. You tell me which form you want to be in.
I will stay in my humanoid form.
Okay, fair enough. All right. You cut him. He loses a hit die. He gains some exhaustion from the blood loss. But then, oops. That's not a sound you want to hear. The orb appears to glow. It just got layered way down where we can't see. All right, hold on.
And like this time, the orb's like, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff, right?" Just immediately on.
All right. Can you guys see it yet? No.
No.
Oh, that's because that's in the way. There we go. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Nice.
Yeah. I feel like a elementary school magician. I'm like, what? This trick is supposed to do this. What's going on? All right, there. So, the two that were taken have been restored.
Spencer's gonna go over and offer Finn for him to help.
Oh yeah.
If he's feeling tired.
Yeah, he will hold on to it and get going.
Nice.
With Spencer.
I'll also Finn to hold on to.
I like this happy shark we drew before. Up in the corner.
Yep.
So, just as a reminder, exhaustion levels. 1, disadvantage on ability checks. That also includes initiative. 2, speed is halved. 3, disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. 4, maximum hit points get halved. 5, speed reduces to 0. And 6, you die. So that's
he does have he has a swim speed though, right?
Yeah, he does.
So he's not double, half speed because underwater. Cool.
Oh yeah, no. That would be very sad if a sea elf did not have swim speed. So, all right. What is your next move now? This is all uncharted terrain. At this point, the octopus would be gone because octopus don't have any bones, despite what Hobby Lobby tried to tell me in the Halloween section.
Fair enough.
I think I took a picture of it. Yeah, it was like a bonedopus or something. It was like a skeleton octopus. It would make a badass monster for sure in D&D, like a skeleton, like an octopus made out of like a skull and a bunch of like backbones. Oh, that'd be nasty. That's what it looked like. It was super scary. Yeah, so that's gone, and then those two would just be skeletons at this point, and all this meat would be gone because, without you pesky adventurers around to attack them, the slimes would have come out in force. So
that's terrifying.
Yeah, it is terrifying to think about. As a druid, I mean, it's something that you would kind of be aware of. As ranger and druid, you guys would be aware of that. Like, yeah, an area like this there's a lot of slimes. It's like IRL. If you see cockroaches during the day, that means that you've got such a bad infestation that only that they're willing to come out during the day, kind of thing. So if you're seeing slimes that are attacking people, that means that there's just that many slimes in the area that they're desperate enough for food that they're attacking dangerous game. So
where do we think the last little beacon is?
Behind the shark.
Yeah. We've got like this one here, right?
There isn't one here. You had hidden one in the octopus at one point, or thought about it. And initially, Pharos, you and your team killed the octopus, and the octopus actually had one of the keys inside of it.
Right. Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was there was one like underneath like the octopus or something.
And eerily enough, Pharos, the priestess seem to know that the octopus had the key inside of it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Careful, don't agitate those mushrooms. Remember.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
the fart ones.
green ones.
Yeah, I don't like those.
So what became of the key after?
Oh, you guys took it right back to this room. You swam down on the bottom of the lake and you installed it.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
Okay.
This is very deja vu for you, because you had already been here before with a and the Sahaugen had a sea elf slave or prisoner, and they basically bled her dry.
Right.
We can go check the two, I guess maybe that trench area or something, or...
Well, yeah, I think there was
Yeah.
2 in front of the temple, guarded by
or
Marrow.
we can just go check
the
whereabouts of those, or we can go play with the shark, who I'm sure is around the corner over here. Just
waiting. I would agree.
Oh.
And terrifying.
Now I know where I am now. I remember this. I was hoping right here.
Yep, that's the place. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly right here.
Memories.
I will say, Toothless, as you pass by this entryway here, you do see a fin dip down into the water.
Oh, I like dun. And I run away.
Okay. Yeah. I like how I can always see where Thogram's been because there's anvils on the GM layer.
Alright, so we think there's one behind the shark. How do we get past the shark? I think maybe the best option would be get into like an initiative, maybe try and turn it, and then try and run past it real fast. We don't know where we're going. That's probably a bad idea.
Do we know that the orb is over there? I thought that was where the weapon was.
No, the weapon's in the temple, right? And
yeah, the weapon, as you recall, is you would enter here, right here, and
go down.
Toothless confirmed. Yeah, there is a ravine, submerged ravine, and he got very bad feels about it. And then this weird drawing up here shows that it is a straight down kind of ravine situation. Pharos has assured you that there are air pockets, not that that's an issue anymore because you have water breathing, in the series of caverns that are around the ravine. Yeah. The one thing that they were unable to do was get past the shark to find the other key. The priestess insists that there's got to be more. There has to be more caves that the shark is guarding. But she is sure that unlike the octopus, the object she seeks is not inside the shark, but past the shark. So basically, she is convinced that it is. If we're saying that the top of your computer monitor is north, she's convinced that it is east of her location when she is standing in the room that you guys are currently in.
Well, we can. Do we have any way to give the shark disadvantage on attacks? Just staying.
I mean, Tari could try. Vicious Mockery is a way to give it disadvantage on attacks.
Okay.
Yeah. Unlike Thousand Tooth, I don't believe. I'll check, but I don't believe the Great White had any legendary actions. But I'll double check.
I think it would have been dead if it did.
Yeah, maybe so. So we decided we're going this way?
Well, we definitely need to activate that key.
Try and turn it?
We go and... Do we think we can take it? I think it said, Crash, you had said before that it had an unnatural healing ability. Like we had hit it before.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to heal when it is left to its own devices.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we're gonna go this way, before we're all going, we're moving out.
Okay. So Oceanus, he is like, I assume in the 2-hour trip to get here, you guys maybe filled him in on the shark situation or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Totally off camera, like conversation. I'm a big proponent of, would we have discussed this when we were blah blah blah? Absolutely. For the love of God, could you ever go on a canoe trip with other people
for that long?
for that long and say nothing to each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you talked about it on the way here. Totally.
Not about the giant shark.
Yeah. Okay, so he is like, do I need to go with you guys over there? I mean, I guess the other option would be to be left here by myself. I guess I'm going with you. All right.
I don't know about your speed being halved though. I think
it's
maybe
not
this is
halved
the
until
time.
he gets another point of exhaustion, though.
Oh.
But then he will be over there.
Yeah, then getting out. Maybe this
and
is
then
the time
we
can bleed him now and put it in a vial, and our fastest swimmer can go over and find it, drop it, and get out. Unless we want to think we can fight the shark, but I don't know.
I mean, there are a lot of you. You could certainly
I feel like we're gonna have to fight it.
I mean, so
1 minute
Toothless
of it.
could throw down probably like, I mean, assuming the DM was okay with this.
Yeah.
I think like a good number of reef sharks. He could also turn himself into a reef shark and hope for the best as he swam towards it.
But what if
and
the big
zombie? And they can't be turned into zombie. No, they're not real.
Okay, I was gonna say.
If they die,
they poof.
Don't leave a corpse behind.
That sounds like another nightmare. More zombie sharks making more zombie sharks.
Shark zombies.
I mean,
that's awesome. Okay,
I'm going to tell you that just calculating it out in my head, like your action economy would be extreme. Like you would, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we have to dodge like.
Look at how cute they are.
Aww.
What if I summoned lesser demons into the lake?
Oh, all right. If you could summon lesser demons and sharks, I mean, you would literally have an army fighting this thing for you.
Let's do it.
Let's save one of those.
We should do that. We should do lesser demons and sharks. That sounds amazing.
Let's do one of those and save the other one for later.
Battle.
Yeah,
we could only
what's the
rest.
plan?
We have Liamon's tiny hut too. You know.
Actually, you get your spells on a short rest back. Maybe the demons.
Warlocks.
Yeah, the warlock does. Yeah.
Mhm. Let's do them both. Let's just fucking annihilate this thing.
Let's go.
YOLO.
Yeah.
I mean, Oceanus just says, I mean, why do anything in half measures?
Yeah.
All right,
let's do it.
Do it all. Can't take him with us. Can't take him with us.
Yeah.
But before we do this, so what are people going to do?
All right.
I'm
going to do what I usually do and attack it. Run up and attack.
Hunter's mark. Shoot.
I'm just gonna try to tank the hit.
Don't look at me as I'm trying to summon demons. It's really embarrassing. It's really.
Come on, guys. You just fight the
I'm
zombie
pulling
shark.
out my
It'll be
journal
fine.
now, so that way when he summons demons.
All right, so here's the one sticking point of the summoning of these demons, right? And this is full meta, so we're not putting this out there for you guys to hear. I have to ask, who'd you kill in the last 24 hours to get this blood?
And while you're considering that, Crash, can I conjure animals before combat starts?
Oh, sure. As long as they stay for what, an hour, right?
Yeah, with like sharks into the water. I just want to create a little bit of chaos, I think.
Oh, sure.
Well,
I want to. If he's gonna do that, I want to ready an action to shoot.
Well, if we're all ready our actions, that's unfair. Let's just figure out what the demons do first.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. So I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to buy such a product on the DL in town, but that is a caveat there of the spells. You got to have that spooky component. Yeah. And normally when you're out in the field and you're killing people on a regular basis, not a problem. But you haven't killed anybody recently.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, like Ferris kind of like he mulls around. I guess I can say the hospice. There's
God.
He's saying they're already on their way out. It satisfies
Holy
his
shit.
awful selfish
Sure.
vibe. It's like
So is there maybe a cutscene where after the party leaves, you kind of did that, like I'm walking with the party and then I'm walking slower than the party and then I walk backwards and you head back to like the cultist of Umberly and you kind of are like, hey,
right.
you got the stuff, and then she's just like, hey, you got the money, and then it's kind of like a whoop whoop kind of thing. Yeah. Are you willing to drop, say, 25 gold on this vial? Does that sound amenable to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. Then we never need to talk about it again. Sure. Okay. Cool. Pharos says it's a very embarrassing, and he tries to he turns his back to the party and hunches over. Okay. And that's what all of that sort of backstory just happened that nobody else, I'm assuming, knows about unless you're following Pharos around in his free time.
Definitely not.
But all right. So the correct answer is you don't know whose blood it is.
I don't know.
All right, so let me give this. I don't even think Pharos knows his blood. It's probably easier that way. All right, let me give Toothless control of these beautiful reef sharks. And you said you're also turning into a reef shark? Is that the plan? Or do you want a bigger shark?
I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be the first salvo.
Okay.
Yeah,
and let's see, summon animals. How many can you do? 4 of them if they're CR half?
Yeah,
Or is it 8 of them?
It's 4.
Okay. The Shark Squad. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And you guys see beautiful, sparkly, Princess Mononoke style, like particle effects kind of are summoned forth, and they coalesce into the form of these 4 sharks. All right. So that's preparation is done. Illyria, don't let Skull poo-poo you. I know that you harbor a hatred for this shark, and nothing will stop you from readying an action. Put a red dot on your miniature. You will shoot the shark as soon as it comes into play. I have groups that literally are like, well, I just ready my action for life, and I'm like, well, you can't really do that. And they're like, no, I just always have my weapon drawn all the time, 24/7.
Yeah, I watched that in the other game.
And
I'm
I
like,
get to shoot before every fight starts. And I'm like, nah, that's not really how it's intended to be done.
Yeah.
This particular instance, it makes sense. You have harbored a hatred for this thing since the first time you saw it. It is an unnatural beast. Definitely, it's fine.
It almost killed both of your friends.
Killed my whale.
The rest of you guys, I'd be less inclined to be like, yeah, go for it, sort of thing. You would need to roll up into initiative like everybody else. But in this particular instance, story and plot-wise, for sure, that's fine. So Toothless, you have your shark army. They look to you for guidance.
They're hungry. I don't think they're gonna move too far away from Toothless at this point.
All right, I'm gonna choose demons for you. Now, do you want shitty demons or super shitty demons or the most shitty demons?
Oh, wait.
Most shitty demons.
That is to say, do you want 1 or 2 challenge rating 1? Do you want 3 to 4 challenge rating 4? Do you want 5 to 6? 5 to 6, 8 demons of challenge rating? I don't know. Honestly, action economy, you always want the most things that you can get if you want to break the game.
So if you want 8 demons of challenge rating 1/4,
wow.
5 to 6.
2 demons.
Yeah, I think it's 5 to 6.
Okay, well, let me check
It's like if you have to roll a d6, and I get
Okay.
No, you just pick which like rank of demons you want, and you get to
Is it
one. So
is
you
it
get...
random?
The wording is weird.
No, it is. It is a d6. So yeah, roll a
Whoa.
d6. Yeah, the formatting's terrible on the spell block, but there's a table if you actually look at it. It's if you get to 1 and 2.
Nice.
There you go.
So 8 demons of challenge rating 1/4.
There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so let me go and check my demon database. See what I got for you. You guys formulate your strategy.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. We have a fuck ton of sharks.
Yeah.
We have a fuck ton of demons. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Oh, Crash!
I was gonna say.
Me and Thogrim had this idea. I just wanted to run it by you. If we had made like this horrific metal apparatus, like say like a harpoon that doesn't come out, and we stick it into a thing, and then we cast heat metal on it.
So what you're describing is a real harpoon, like not a Dungeons and Dragons harpoon, but like a whaling harpoon.
Yeah, like the cruelest thing you could think of, but it's all made out of metal. And if we cast heat metal on it, would that be sufficient surface area to hurt it?
Terrible. Yeah, it would be stuck in the creature. It would be burning it every round. Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Okay,
so,
that was an idea I had. We didn't.
Yeah, I mean, heat metal is one of the most evil and powerful spells in the game. Hence the reason they gave it to bards. So like, yeah, totally.
Okay. For future.
Yeah.
We didn't set it up this time, but I was talking with them about it.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great combo.
Because I'm proficient in I'm proficient in improvised weapons, so I could theoretically use anything. Okay, cool.
All right, let's see what we got here. We got a lot of demons. I gotta get you some real garbage, some real trash can stuff. What do we got here? Oh, those are cute. All right. I like to spice it up a little bit because Lemire's and Dretches and all that. I mean, it gets a little stale after a while. Oh yeah, they don't have a swim speed. They have a climb speed though. That might be kind of hype. Yeah, these are probably better than a Dretch, anyways.
Yeah. So I timidly make a circle around everybody using the blood I use. It's like, don't leave the circle. Don't
leave the circle.
It's like the sea bear circle from SpongeBob. And, yeah, they can't come in the circle.
Okay. How long do they last?
Oh wow, yeah. Okay. So you reach out and you summon yeah, we'll go with Abyssal Wretches. You summon 8 Abyssal Wretches. So they are really gross. They're super gross. Let's see.
Oh.
I mean, I like their teeth.
The teeth.
That's actually just his arm.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're really gross.
Let's blow this up.
Post the picture. Nah, it didn't work. All right, I'll just post it over in the macro's not working. I'll post it over game art for you guys so you can see what you got. There they are.
There's a circle.
Yeah. So it is basically just a hideous, malformed man that is like starting to sort of mutate and fall apart. It's really gross.
Don't look at it.
Yeah, and you get 8 of them with 4 sharks. All right, guys.
We are gonna maybe win. Maybe win.
So Abyssal Wretches. This is what they're bringing to the table, boss man. 11 armor class, 18 hit points, only a 20 speed, so they're only going to be swimming at 10. This is kind of sad. But they are resistant to cold, fire, and lightning and immune to poison. They're immune to charm, frightened, and the poison status. They have dark vision 120 feet, terrible perception, no skills, no special saving throws. They can't talk because they're too deformed, but they do understand Abyssal. You speak Abyssal, right?
I do speak Abyssal.
All right, so you'll be able to give them commands and stuff. That's good. And they bite things. And they can bite things pretty hard. A D8 plus 1. It's not nothing to scoff at. So, all right. How long are these guys here for?
I think until the spell ends.
Up to an hour, or your concentration lost. All right. All right. They pursue and attack the nearest non-demons to the best of their ability. Ooh, that's going to be tricky. You're going to have to, yeah. It's only an action to summon them, though. So let's put them on standby. And then you would probably want to summon them so that they don't kill all of the sharks, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think you have a lot of control over them, except they try to kill everything. Right. And that's right. That's why you get a circle. Okay. Oh, God. The circle is large enough to encompass your space, so it's only a 5-foot circle. Oh, my goodness. This spell is getting a little shady. I'll be honest. You know, the material spell component seemed fine, but now it's just getting out of control here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's your circle.
It'll be okay.
Where do you want to put the circle? You probably still need to be able to see the sharks. So do you want to put it maybe right where you're standing, or where Skull's standing? Where you want to be?
I'll be where Skull's standing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right here at the ledge. All right.
Also, Crash, did you go to bed? Should you go to bed?
Oh shoot! Is it midnight? Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. With your forces assembled, and the shark, yeah, it's not going to be able to ignore you guys doing this. It has a job to do. I guess you can eagerly look forward to kicking the shit out of this shark. Because level 5 is what they call the power level in 5th edition. You will never feel as strong as you feel when you first hit level 5. Let me tell you. So I think next week you are going to just kick this thing up and down the street and steal her lunch money. So such as it were. Yeah. So there she is, and there you guys are, and I guess we'll stop there. Outside of game, you have a lot of cool stuff that you could be doing. So plan what you retroactively had Skull drop off for hiring the crew, and who you wanted to enlist to help hire the crew, and what you wanted to do with. I think there were plenty of opportunities for role playing, of course. So with the role play server, a lot of people are like, I want to use the role play server, but it's we're in the middle of a fight. The roleplay server can very much operate on Doctor Who principles of like time is wibbly wobbly. So if you want to have like flashback roleplay, right? Where it's like, so and so, remember when we were back in town and blah 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 blah. I mean, that's totally okay with me, right? Anything that can get you more into the game, that can develop your characters more, and then break your heart more when you die. That's what matters to me. So, wait, I didn't say that part. So what I mean is, I want you to be fully immersed in the story. I want to be immersed in the story. I want to be cheering for your characters and their successes and stuff like that. So I do read the role play stuff when time permits. I will occasionally jump in as NPCs. Just like that Bushimi meme or whatever, where he's like, "Hey, fellow kids," I'll jump in and be like, "Hey, fellow players, I can role play too." So yeah, definitely do that. What else? Announcements outside of the game. We raised over $5,000 for Extra Life. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yay!
Yeah. People thought it would be really neat to hack a charity for sick children in the hospital, so that was kind of rough. But I think almost to sort of defy those people, people donated even more than any previous year in 10 years. So maybe it backfired on them. I don't know. And brought out more generosity from people. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was cool. Two of you guys are going to be in the one this coming weekend. Skull and Toothless. There is one spot available. I'm not stressing too hard about filling it because it'll still be fun with the 5 people we have. But if you hate your human body and you think that it'd be fun to play Dungeons and Dragons for 24 hours straight, you are definitely welcome to take that spot. Just let me know. And yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was a cool experience, a lot of fun. After that, there will be no more marathons for the year. I am going to be running a series of one-shot adventures in November, December, and January, maybe past January. I don't know. So a lot of them are like very specific, right? But there are spots available, and I'll probably do more of an interest survey before scheduling any more games to see what people are most interested in playing, and then only schedule those kind of games. But yeah, so we got a lot of cool stuff going on moving forward. So I don't know. It's been a fun year with you guys. So yeah, other than that, does anybody else have anything that they would like to toss out while everybody's assembled before we adjourn?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Have a great night, everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Have a
we
good
enjoyed
sleep.
watching. Yeah, we enjoyed watching much of the streaming session. It was super fun.
Yeah. So I
All
often,
except the mac and cheese sounds.
I often worry that playing D&D for 26 years, I've lost a certain sense of who I am, right? Like multiple personality disorder type thing. Like, who am I? What of the 500 NPCs am I, kind of thing. But I won't lie. When Burger got a donation specifically for Burger, I think I cried a little bit. I think a little tear went down my fucking face. Because
When I
was
heard
like,
that Burger had helped two people mate with a Minotaur, like I don't know anything about Burger, but like I want to know Burger. Like Burger is amazing.
And Crash, I don't know if he'd be amenable to it, but I think Liz might want to see Burger next Sunday or Saturday.
Oh man, I mean, Burger is his own man. I think as long as you could return him to his fellows, he would not mind going back into the caves of chaos.
Okay.
Yeah, but
well, I'll let you and Liz discuss that.
That would be a very powerful ally for a party of level 1s to bring like a level 6 barbarian with him. Heck yeah. All right, so anyways, I really appreciated everybody's support is what I'm trying to say. So, and I was very happy that this particular one was not as weird as the last one, which if you thought this one was weird, man, the last one was really weird. So yeah.
Wait, how do we keep it from not being weird?
God, I don't even know. Stay in town. Don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know.
Okay,
fair enough. So they've proven that sleep deprivation releases chemicals similar to being drunk, right? So eventually everyone is drunk. So the decision making falls apart. You get, as you might have noticed in the stream, angry drunk. You get sad drunk. You get tired drunk. Everybody comes out to play eventually. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And honestly, it is a very unique experience. Again, when people ask me what is it like, why would it be worth people donating to? I'm like, imagine doing improv for 25 hours, but you also have to do math. and they're just they're just like, that sounds terrible. And I'm like, that's why we're asking for donations for charity. Yeah, this is not like something that was easy to do. So all right, cool. I'm gonna actually get some more sleep. That sounds good. So enjoy your upcoming week, and look forward to you guys getting the show the shark next week. So
night.
All right, night.
Hi everyone.
Night, everyone.
Night.